93, 93, 93. This is the Mon Asharenew from asharenew.com. We back in there once again for another live stream. And of course, we're going to start it off as usual with a little theme music, give people some time to come in, and we'll get straight to it. All right, let's get it.
You know my city atomic. You know my city atomic. You know my city atomic. We radiate them comets. Make the lyrics go supersonic. Shift to the earth, call it plate tectonics. Whoa, beat so astronomic. Yo, tryna grow hydroponic. Yo, tryna grow hydroponic. Yo, tryna grow hydroponic. Dose, trance, call it nirvanic. Dose, Griffin and Serpent type phonic. 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 Deja vu, vu. Watch as I cast it, juju. King of the heavens, call me Anu. Started with the demons like Rahu. Spear to the left, issues. Journey to the planet Nibiru. That conjure man, hoodoo. Clone nigga two like Mewtwo. Deja vu, vu. Watch as I cast it, juju. King of the heavens, call me Anu. Started with the demons like Rahu. Spear to the left, issues. Journey to the planet Nibiru. That conjure man, hoodoo. Clone nigga two like Mewtwo. The bar wound from the tomb. All this darkness I consume. Interference can call on Zoom. Design the mind, I am canoe. Working them scales, holy as hell. I repel, psychic spells. Ringing them bells, throwing them shells. It's clipophic where I dwell. The bar wound from the tomb. All this darkness I consume. Interference can call on Zoom. Design the mind, I am canoe. Working them scales, holy as hell. I repel, psychic spells. Ringing them bells, throwing them shells. It's clipophic where I dwell. Wearing that ring of the genie, surrounded in cloaks you can't see thee. That 93, my philosophy. That 93, my philosophy. That 93, my philosophy. That 93, that 93, that 93, that 93, that that 93, my philosophy. Them inner stars of geography. I'm invoking them sacred names. Level my mental, reversing planes. Infamous, fuck all that clout and fame. The Kiyama, I set the whole world aflame. Captain Soul, I transcend with my energy. Noah's Ark and I speak metaphysically. Underworld, you know who that ruler be. Hello Cyrus, I resurrect sexually. Others listen, the chosen receive it. That's because their true soul is vampiric. Way before Vedic, Dravidic. Look at that, that's satiric. Pray to holy creams like the Sufis. Grab the pin, I'm scribing on loose sleeves. As I chief, I advance in the far deep. Call the spirits that rose from the concrete. Christ heard it through like a Gnostic. Lay my true eyes on the prophets. Don't separate, we composite. Aeon of the Gothics. The demi-sphere, I illuminate. That scholarship, I sophisticate. I step foot towards the middle gate. I alternate between conscious states. Found victory while in the Zack. Couple magic swords, put some druid hats. That holy cat with the candle wax. The method back, hidden in our rap. The bar wound from the tomb. All this darkness I consume. Interference can call on Zoom. Design the mind, I am canoe. Working them scales, holy as hell. I repel, psychic spells. Ringing them bells, throwing them shells. It's clipophic where I dwell. Deja vu, vu. Watch as I cast it, juju. King of the heavens, call me Anu. Started with the demons like Rahu. Spear to the left, issues. Journey to the planet Nibiru. That conjure man, hoodoo. Clone nigga two like Mewtwo.
Alright. Alright. Let me turn this down just a bit. Alright, peace, peace, peace. What's up, Incognito? What's up, what's up, what's up? Alright, give me 1 second here. I see my background lighting is kind of all over the place. So let me fix this lighting real fast. So I'll be right with you guys. Alright, with you. What's up, Morbid Clown? 93, 93, 93. Let me fix this background light. I'll be right with you guys. Alrighty, so hopefully that's better now. Yeah, that should be better now. 93, 93, 93, Mary. What's up, what's up, what's up? Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Let me turn this down just slightly. Just slightly. Yeah, that should be good right there. What's up, SO? Peace, 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 peace. Alright, so let me go ahead and loop this. Alright, we should be good to go. It's about 5 a.m. 5 a.m. West Coast, 8 a.m. East Coast. What's up, MVR? What's up, Oshun? Y'all up early. Y'all up early. Y'all are up early. Turn this mic down just a bit. Yeah, that should be good. Well, I haven't been to sleep yet, so I guess my day is still going. I don't know when I got up. I think I've been up almost 24 hours now. I don't know. I'm just on one. I guess this spring. Let me just tell you what's been going on with my personal spring. It's like I haven't really been eating nothing. It's like I'm basically still on a fast. It's like all I eat is this little trail mix and stuff. Really, at this point, I will pull some out, but so it's like I'm not even eating cooked food at the moment. It's like my body just is not even calling for it. It's like I'm not trying to do it. In other words, like I'm not trying to fast. It's just my body doesn't even. I'm not smoking. So yeah, I'm not getting high. I'm sober as fuck. What's up, Isaiah? Yeah, so I'm sober as fuck. Empty stomach. So you already know the spirit is going to be flowing. Which brings me to the title of this video. Why majority of the thoughts are negative and how to clear your conscience. Now, what made me think of this, well, not necessarily think of the title, but what made me want to do the video is I don't really think most people realize how negative, not necessarily that they are, but the world as a whole and how the brain works. I feel I should get royalties. What type of royalties? Y'all ready to get to work? Yeah, we're gonna go in. Cause we're gonna keep it scientific and we're gonna keep it mathematical. And that's what I'm here for. That's why, we ain't even gotta deal with the spirituality of it all. Cause again, I'm kinda getting sick of that shit. Let everybody else have that shit. Let everybody else have it. I don't even want to speak about that shit. Cause I gotta turn up. Cause I know that's what y'all want. So I'm not even about to be calm. I know it's 5 a.m, but we're going to bring the force. We're going to bring the heat. So once again, I don't think people realize how negative the world is. So when we have negative thoughts, we think that it's us. And this is essentially what I'm trying to point out. We think that it's just us being negative. Like, it's just whatever we're going through at the moment, whatever we have been through, when that don't have nothing to do with anything. Why? Because you can be a person not going through anything. You can be in a prosperous place in your life right now. Don't make the world less negative. Irregardless of your personal circumstances, the world is still going to be majority negative, irregardless of your actual status on a personal level. But why is that? And this is what we're going to get into. Why? Well, first and foremost, 80% of thought is negative and useless. That's the first number I'm going to throw out there. 93 immortal. 93, 93, 93. 80% of thought is negative and useless. So that only leaves you with 20% to actually utilize and be progressive with. Let me break it down even further. Only 5% of thought is actually progressive. So even if that 20% out of that 100%, even if 20% of those thoughts are positive, only 5% of those thoughts are progressive. There we go. So of that 20% of positivity, only 5% of that is going towards you actually progressing in life and you being progressive. So out of 100% of thought, only 5% of that thought is actually directed towards progression, innovation, and uniqueness, creativity, all these things. We know this to be true because the world has many, many artists. But majority of the artists run into what? We call them what? Struggling artists. That's a term that we use. You know, dream chasers, so on and so forth. It's like everybody's on the pursuit to get to some type of goal that they feel that they need to reach. And things are going to change after they reach whatever goal that they're striving towards. But I'm here to point out that that is not the case. What's up, Dank Wizard? There's a lot of y'all in here. God damn. Hey, y'all are really showing up today. Well, this morning, I guess. So if we consider that you literally have to force yourself to think positive, as we already know, anybody who has been doing any type of work on themselves realize that it is something, that the reason why we have to do work, whether we want to call it shadow work, light work, whatever type of work we want to call it, the reason why you have to do work at all is because 80% of thoughts are negative. So that means you have to use your actual mind force or mind power to actually think positive, as if it's unnatural. So you can say positive thoughts are unnatural. We also know this to be true because we know how a majority of the world is talking about absolutely nothing, wasting their fucking time with useless thinking, useless thoughts, nothing moving forward, nothing progressive. And we know all this to be true. All we gotta do is just exist in the world, and we know just listen to conversations, and just only 5% of those conversations are gonna be progressive. Majority of that shit is just a bunch of nagging and complaining. And then they're gonna go to sleep and do it again the next day, do it again the next day, do it again. So it's like it's a loop. Because it actually takes effort to think positive. Then it takes extraordinary effort, or we will call supernatural effort, to think progressively. And this is why there are so few people that actually reach the peaks of life in existence. Because you basically have to be supernatural in your thinking to even reach these chambers. So anybody thinking that they're just going to fall into this shit, you know, you're pretty much, you're setting yourself up for failure. It's crazy how the female is negative. I would say the reason why women are more susceptible to negative energy is because they carry the negative current. So this is why we see a majority of women, even though of course men is the same way, but you can say women are more susceptible to it. They're more influenced by it because of the negative currency they are naturally charged with. And even though men are, you can say, charged with the positive currency, don't make them any more positive without that supernatural effort. So either way it go, it's going to require some supernatural effort, irregardless of your gender. So if you are not putting in supernatural effort, because that's the type of effort you're going to have to put in to change things. What creates change in life is supernatural effort. It's you tapping into that 5% that allows you to be progressive and original. This is why people start meditating. Why? Because when you meditate and you calm your mind, you are upping your chances to going into that 20%, moving away from the 80% and going into the 20%. That's essentially all meditation do. It takes you from the negative to the positive, but you still have to get into that supernatural thought process. That 5%, as we say. Now let's go to numerology. Let's see what that 5 actually means. Because we understand the 5 takes us to the planet Mercury. Mercury rules over the zodiac signs of Gemini and Virgo, or the 3rd and the 6th house. The 3rd house represents your fields of study, and your 6th house represents your service. What's up, back from hiatus? I find supernatural events happen when I silence the mind, because consciousness is the only reality. Consciousness is the only reality. Nothing else exists outside of consciousness. So if you are not aiming to elevate your consciousness, you're missing the entire point, because nothing else exists but your own consciousness anyway. We're just under the illusion that all this other stuff exists. So it's very easy to get distracted. So it's very easy to feel like you're falling behind. It's very easy to feel like, man, I need to be doing more in my life. I should be doing more. Look at what everybody else is doing. Look at what they accomplished by this time, by this age. Like, we can get trapped into all these things because majority of thought is negative. So it's easier to get caught. Again, just look around social media. Social media is a black hole for this type of behavior, because it's so easy to, tap into imagery and tap into all type of vortexes, and then your mind just goes in that direction, and it's hard to escape the matrix once you enter into it. It's like a black hole. It's easy to get sucked into it, but it's hard to pull yourself out of it, right? It's as if you can't pull yourself out of it and maintain who and what you think you are, which is the point I'm getting at, really. In order to pull yourself out of a black hole, you're not going to pull yourself out whole. You're basically going to come out as a pure being, because that's going to be the only thing left is your own consciousness. Any other attachments that you think you may have had is going to be left inside of that black hole. This is why we equate the first eye with a black hole, or the pineal gland. We equate the pineal gland to a black hole because it actually allows you to clear your consciousness. That's really all the first eye is supposed to do. Because once you are able to clear your consciousness, Now everything becomes possible because you didn't left out of that 80% of negativity. So if you are able to maintain in that 20% of positive thinking, then that ups your odds once again into tapping into the supernatural thoughts. So if your thoughts are not supernatural, then it's hard to change matter. It's hard to change your circumstances if you are not thinking supernaturally. See, a lot of people think supernaturally by force. What I mean by that is they may have went through extreme trauma. Just look at the celebrities. Look at all the people who you can say have made something of themselves. They have been through pretty traumatic things, which altered their consciousness. So it really was not a choice. And that's, you wouldn't know that if you don't understand how the brain works. If you don't understand how the mind works, you really think, oh, this person just worked hard, and that's how they got to where they got to. It's never that simple. Because we know this requires a lot more than work on a physical level. The real work, as we already know, takes place in the consciousness. Keeping our consciousness in that realm of the supernatural, which will take up all of your time. And this is the point I'm making. This takes up all of your time. This is not something that you can do in the background. And a lot of people approach so-called spirituality in that way, like it's things that you can do in the background. This has to be in the forefront of your mind. Meaning this has to consume you until you don't even exist anymore. As if you're asleep and you're dreaming. It's like you don't exist. So you have to absorb yourself from the inside out. You pretty much have to suck yourself into your own black hole that we call the pineal gland. So you have to suck your consciousness into your pineal gland, at which point you become clear. Because we identify with this negativity because this is the majority of life. So we become attached to these thoughts that are not real. That's why we must release any attachments we may have, even including your name, your family inheritance, like any attachments, like, well, I'm this because of that. You got to let all that shit go, because it doesn't help. Everything that we tend to hold on to, it can be subtle or great. It can be a woman who holds on, who's attached to her hair. A lot of women are attached to their hair. You can say a lot of men are attached to their cars. Whatever attachment you have, it actually drains your energy. What do I mean? Because if let something happen to that car, or let something happen to your hair. You got women who won't even leave the house if their hair is not done. We know how that goes. Is that negative thoughts or is that positive thoughts? We know damn well that that's negative thoughts dominating. Because why the fuck should it matter? It shouldn't, but it does. And that's my point. The things that should not matter actually do, because majority of the thoughts are negative. So it's so easy to look at yourself in the mirror and not like what you see for whatever reason. We can find the smallest error on our body and amplify it. We can amplify the smallest things. What does that? The negativity that we naturally have. So this is why I say we have to go beyond meditation at this point. Let everybody else meditate. Let the newborns meditate. Let that be their goal. That should not be your goal. Your goal is not to get into a meditative state. That's not the end goal. That's just to calm your mind. That's just to get into the 20% once again. But that's not the destination. So it's more like a medium than a destination. So once you have established that medium to put yourself into the positive currency, then you still have to be progressive and innovative. And that's why, once again, I always speak about technomancy, because that's the innovation, that's the progression. What do I mean? Because the internet is progressive. Technology is progressive. There is new technology being released all the time. I don't think there's nothing moving faster than technology in terms of the material plane. The digital world is really outpacing the physical world. How do we know that? Because everybody's always on their phones. And what are they doing on their phones? They're on the internet, researching, probably looking up some dumbass shit. But we're just going to say they're researching. We know damn well they're not, but we'll say they're researching. Because the internet, you're probably going to get news on the internet before you get it, you can say, right to your face, right? So if you want to connect with the world, you can say you have to access it through the internet. So if you want to know what's going on the other side of the planet, how do you do that? Through the internet. If you want to know what's going on in your local town, how do you do that? With the internet. How do we access the internet? Through technology. So we see technology is integrated in just our ability to be conscious of what's going on around us. We have to use technology to even know what's going on around us. Otherwise, what, you're going to pick up a local newspaper? You know damn well you're not going to do that. So you're going to pick up your phone, or you're going to type in your laptop, you're going to pick up your tablet, and you're going to see what's going on. If you're even aware of current events. That's if you're even aware of what's going on. And we know a lot of people are not. You know how many times I've heard people say that they don't even watch the news? You know how many times I've heard that? You know how much I've seen that. I'm like, this motherfucker has no idea what's going on, huh? Because, you know, you can just tell by the conversation how much they know about current events or just their own consciousness. You know, all it takes is a conversation. And you probably ain't trying to have too many conversations anyway, because you already know where their mind is. So, like, why even talk to these motherfuckers, right? You already know what's up. You can just tell by the spirit. You can tell by the energy. This is what makes energy so powerful. You can just look at a person and know what the fuck is going on. Once you become sensitive, it don't even take a conversation. You can just tell by a person's body movements, going right back to Mercury, where we started. Mercury represents our ability to move, our movements, body movements, or as we call body language. Body language is Mercury. So you can observe a person's body language. You can observe a person's frequency and currency without actually having to engage in conversation. We do this naturally anyway. We just may not necessarily know the secrets of the language. Every language has secrets. There's the surface level, then there's the hidden level, or as we call the occult level of things. So just like regular language has surface level conversation that we try to engage in, this surface level bullshit, but then you have the deeper conversations. When you engage in those deeper conversations, that takes your mind out of that 80% anyway. But you see, it has to be with a person that's aware, or as we like to call, woke. And you know, it's not just an abundance of people walking around just on woke time, right? It just is what it is. You're probably the only one in your cipher. So that means it's up to you to think supernaturally, because most of the time it's probably going to be you that not only changes your life, but the life of your entire family. And this is where I'm getting at. The one who changes everything is the one who thinks supernaturally, because that's the one thing that you know that your family is not doing. They may be positive I'm not going to say everybody is just all negative. Again, 80% is, but you got 20% who's not. But again, you're trying to be the 5%. To think supernaturally so that you can transcend not just yourself, but those who are in your cipher. So you have to make the sacrifice. I am the only one in my group, absolutely. And that's what I'm saying. I'm not speaking nothing that y'all don't already know. I'm just confirming it. I'm sure you've already came to these conclusions through your own research, through your own observations. I'm just here to clarify why that is. Why do you see what you see? Why is 80% of the world just fucking stupid? Don't even know what's going on. Don't care to know what's going on. So it's only 20% of the world that actually gives a fuck about what's going on. Then again, it's only 5% that can actually make some shit happen, which is the group or the percentage you're trying to be in. You want to be the one that's actually making something happen. It's not enough to be positive. It's not enough to think positive. That may take you out of the negativity, but that's not going to actually, it's not enough to actually change your reality, which is what we're aiming for. We're aiming for permanent change, not temporary change, permanent change. Well, if we are aiming for permanent change, this is where the supernatural thinking has to activate, or the planet Pluto, because we know what planet represents the idea of transformation, permanent change. Well, we know that to be Pluto, which we know is the last planet, if you even consider it a planet, which is why it's not considered a planet. Just in case you didn't realize that, they didn't demote Pluto just because they felt like it. They demoted Pluto because they didn't want your mind focused on Pluto. What's up, Nina? They did not want your mind to access Pluto because Pluto creates permanent change. That's why I'm always talking about start from Pluto and make your way towards the sun. Because when you start at Pluto, again, the first degree that you master is the degree of transformation. How do you transform things? Versus starting at the sun, well, how do I access my personal power? Fuck your personal power. That's not enough. Because it's everybody. Everybody got personal power. A motherfucking ant got personal power. A fucking ant has a spirit, which is the sun, right? But that's not enough. So fucking what? Everybody got a fucking spirit. But you see, that don't change a goddamn thing. What changes, once again, is you starting from Pluto. You starting in reverse, which is what I'm getting at. You basically have to reverse. As they call reverse psychology. This is the same thing. You have to reverse the entirety of your thinking to go from that 80% of negativity to that 5% of supernatural ability, because that's where all the magic happens. Exactly, Kether. All the magic happens in that 5%, that hidden void that we call Pluto, aka Kether. Because Pluto is not just heaven, Pluto is also hell. So Pluto is heaven and hell. So that means whether you go to heaven or hell, or whether you exist in heaven or hell, if you feel like heaven or hell is on earth, irregardless of your belief, whether it's on earth or after earth, it still deals with Pluto. Because Pluto represents change. So when we die, we are going through the veils of Pluto to make it to our destination of heaven or hell. But it's the same planetary energy. So I spoke about Mercury being that number 5, and Mercury ruling over the zodiac sign of Gemini and Virgo. Could it just be what you haven't experienced before as a soul? I wouldn't think so. I mean, all you need is one goddamn, let me not say one. You don't need that many lifetimes to live out every possibility, honestly. Which is why the goal is to escape reincarnation. If you're really serious about your spirit, you shouldn't be trying to reincarnate. You should not be coming back to this bitch. Because if you gotta come back, that means you haven't mastered yourself yet. If you need to repeat. The goal is to not have to repeat this bullshit. Because when you repeat, you forget. That's why most people don't remember their past lives. You forget. So you keep having to start over. So the goal is to escape out of that. So the only way to escape out of that is to be supernatural, as we call the Christ. Right? The resurrection of the Christ. So whether we want to consider the Christ Haru or Jesus, it's the same principle. Let me take it a step further. Since we mentioned Egypt, we understand Osiris and Set were brothers, just like Cain and Abel. Cain and Abel was brothers. Then one of the brothers ended up killing the other one. So we can see, okay, why do we keep seeing these same goddamn stories in different cultures? There's always two brothers, one end up killing the other one. What's that all about? And it always seemed like the negative brother, or the so-called negative brother, kills the positive brother. You can call Osiris was a positive one, Set was a negative one. You can say Abel was a positive one, Cain was a negative one. So what is with this triumph of negativity that's killing off the positive currency? Well, that goes back to the mathematics. The negative energy is the dominant force. Remember, the people made the decision to kill off the Christ. It wasn't the ruling powers. It wasn't the king, it wasn't the queen, it was the people. The people decided, put him on the cross. And again, metaphor, we know that it's not real. It's the principle as to why things occur. So we're just using this metaphorical story to explain the principle. That the people took the life of the Christ. It wasn't the people that had the power, because they could have did it, but they didn't, because they actually understood him. If we analyze the story, they actually had sympathy for him. The so-called powers that be, they actually like, yo, we actually don't want to kill him, because he ain't really doing nothing worthy of death. But for some reason, the people couldn't stand this motherfucker. The people couldn't stand the Christ. It wasn't the powers that be, which is why to be at the top of the pyramid, or to be in the upper echelons of life, you have to embody your Christ consciousness. Why? Because they actually are cool with you. That's the whole point. Right? So when you embody your Christ consciousness, that's why I'm not going to say that's why they say, but that's why your reality changes. You gain a new circle. Whatever your circle is now, you gain a new circle. You enter into a new cipher that's actually more understanding of you than the people. So that means if you are the Christ of your family, that means you actually could get killed by your own fucking family. Your own family may turn on you. And how often do we see this happening? All the fucking time. We see this all the time. People getting fucked over by their own family members, or the people that's closest to them. Why is that? Because the majority of people are negative. Just because you cultivated your Christ consciousness don't mean nobody else did, even if they're around. Even if they're right there with you trying to do the same thing you're doing, but they're not going to go there that extra step. They're not going to go that extra step that you're going to go. Because you may be willing to die for this shit. They're not. They love this earth too much to give their life for a higher cause, which is why they cannot be the Christ. The Christ was willing to give his life for I'm not going to say dumb shit, but the Christ was willing to give his life so that others can have life, basically, which is the whole purpose, to show and prove that it's possible to escape the cycles of reincarnation. That was the purpose of the story of Christ. You can actually transcend reincarnation. You don't have to keep coming back to this bitch, repeating the same shit over and over again because you're attached. Because majority of the people die with attachments. This is just a reality. Majority of people die, damn, I wish I would have did that. Wish I would have did that. Wish this happened. Wish that happened. So just imagine being on your deathbed thinking like this about what the fuck you should have did or could have did. And then you die. What's going to happen? You're going to repeat because you were not satisfied. Your soul was not ready to go to the next level because you didn't embody the Christ consciousness, which is majority of the people. Which is why they wanted to kill off the Christ, because the Christ reminds them of the true goal of life, which is to get the fuck out this shit, not to get deeper into it. But the world tricks us to make us believe the goal is to get deeper into life, which is why everybody's so obsessed with being successful and all this materialism, because they feel the goal is I need to obtain as many resources as I can before I die. Even though, because you know, you can't take any of these things with you. So you're trying to do everything you can before your end date. Which is fine if you plan on coming back, because that doesn't require any type of spiritual effort. It doesn't require you to do anything supernatural. As we know, you got people that become millionaires by accident. That's not necessarily something that requires a skill. As we see, a lot of millionaires are fucking idiots. Majority of them are, because they're not intelligent. It does not require intelligence to make money. It doesn't. You just have to be a capitalist. You have to understand business. You can make as much money as you want. But as they say, it's a phrase that goes, what's the world to a man that's lost his soul? You literally can have the world in your hands, but as you were pursuing the world, you lost who and what you are, or you lost your purpose. Then you end up having the same fate as everyone else. You just die in a comfortable bed while everybody else dies in a hospital bed. That's the only difference. Your deathbed is just more luxurious. That's really the only difference. Because you lost sense of the goal. The goal is to get the fuck up out of here. But the only way to get up out of here is to not be attached to this plane. The only way to not be attached to this plane is for you to know that consciousness is the only reality. So consciousness never dies, even though your physical body perishes, but your consciousness does not. Your consciousness lives on, and it will either take on another body, another physical body, or it will take on a spiritual form, or a higher astral form, an etheric form, a cosmic form, and continue to exist elsewhere. There's also another saying that the spirit within you, or the spirit that occupies your body, was reluctant to even enter into a body. When you were a spiritual being, before you had a physical shell, you were reluctant. You're like, why on earth would I ever trap myself into the physical plane? I appreciate that, Nina. So it's so easy to lose focus. It's so easy to lose track, and that's the purpose of the world. The world is actually here to test you. That's why they say life is a test, because every day you wake up to this distraction. Every day you wake up to Maya, and every day you have to make a decision as to Am I going to go deeper into materialism, or will I allow myself to access that 5%? Because I guarantee you, everybody who's on this money trip, everybody who's pursuing money in business, look at the type of energy that is generated. Just look at it. Just look around. Look at the type of spirits that you have to, you can say, feed in order to sustain. And you know those spirits want more materialism. And that's the whole thing. So it's a very simple concept and process. It's just not easy to do. It's not easy to perform. It's not easy to be the fucking Christ when you know your ass can get hung, metaphorically, or exiled. You can say that would be more realistic. You will be exiled by your own people that you're trying to save, and that's why they say you can't take everybody with you. Of course, everybody want to take the people they love with them, but the people you love don't love you the way you love them, unfortunately. Because again, if you are the Christ, that means you have to sacrifice, but you also have the potential to sacrifice at the same time. Everybody doesn't have the potential because they don't see the bigger picture, so they don't understand, like, why would I ever do that? So these principles are ancient, as we know. Because I'm speaking about the Christ, but let's go back to Haru, where it all started. Haru, or Horus, for those who don't know, Horus had to come after the death of Osiris. So Osiris was dead when Haru was formed. As we are all familiar with the story, his body got cut up, 13 pieces, thrown into the Nile River, had to be found by Isis or Aset, as well as her sister Nethys. They had to reassemble the body parts, but they were unable to find the phallus. So Isis had to use that necromancy in order to briefly. See, here we go. I already sense it. I'm like, all right, I'm about to say some ridiculousness, so just brace yourself. Because every time I try to tell this story, it's like, anyway, let me just keep going. I'm not going to get distracted. Because as soon as I said necromancy, right? Because it's a forbidden art. That's the whole thing. It's a forbidden art for a reason, and it goes back to this story. Isis was able to resurrect Osiris briefly. And without a phallus, he was able to conceive, or they, so I don't want to say he, they were able to conceive a child without a phallus. And he's dead. So what is the principle here? Because once we take it back to that story, we get a little bit more detail as to how this occurs. What do I mean? There's a reason why the phallus is missing. Because what planet connects you to the phallus or the genital area? Oh, that's right, Pluto. Pluto is connected to the genitals. We already know that. Because in medical astrology, the zodiac sign that rules over the genital area is, oh, you guessed it, Scorpio. And Scorpio is ruled by Pluto. So that's how we know that. So the absence of a phallus is the absence of Pluto, or transformation. Which is majority of the world. So let me show you how this ties into what's going on in the majority of the world. You can say the majority of the world is phallus. I don't even know if that's a world. Phallus less. Phallus less. No dick. We just be completely blunt about this shit, alright? What do I mean? We know majority of men are not porn stars. So you know goddamn well that they're not supernatural in the bedroom. We already know that to be a fact. How could they be? Because you're not taught that. Who the fuck is taught how to be a porn star in the bedroom? You basically have to come into that understanding on your own. Ain't nobody gonna teach you how to do that. That's something you have to grow into on your own, right? And that's if you have access to women or men in abundance. Because everybody doesn't have that type of access, of course. Everybody doesn't even have the mentality to even engage in that. Due to religion, right? Which takes away a lot of our power. Because one of the main things that religion keeps you away from is your own sexuality. Which is, oh yeah, that's right, the 8th house of Scorpio. Right? So here we are right back. Because we suppress our sexuality, which actually promotes change. As we know, sex magic is what transforms things. So you can say Isis and Osiris were able to conceive Horus by utilizing the true essence of sex magic. As we know, it doesn't even have to be physical. That's why a child was conceived without a phallus, because the magical essence of sex doesn't require penetration. All it requires is a thought. So when Osiris was resurrected briefly, all he needed to do was to maintain that 5% of progressive thought. That's all he needed to do. He didn't have a phallus. So it wasn't about getting hard. It wasn't about anything. It was about, I need to preserve this 5% that allows me to do some supernatural things. Again, it was supernatural. How do you have a child without a phallus? Is basically in an what is it called? An immaculate birth. The immaculate birth. Because we know children are not being conceived without a phallus. So the fact that Horus came through without a phallus means there's some type of supernatural activity occurring. And whenever some supernatural activity is occurring, we know that Pluto has something to do with that. So if Pluto has something to do with that, this takes us right back to the beginning. Yep, there we go. The Immaculate Conception. We've all heard about it, but we don't get it. The majority doesn't get it. And they don't get it because you got to get out of that 80% to even understand what's being said. Because it's disguised in Twilight language. So Bible, Quran, these holy books, all these things are disguised in Twilight language. Meaning you got to be Masonic, or you got to know the hidden language to even decode these things. So that's why you can say 5%ers have supreme mathematics and supreme alphabets as keys to unlock more dimensions. Just as an example of that. Because that's what makes them different than, you can say, Muslims and the Mosque. But we don't have to go too deep in that world. Let's stay on the Osiris, Aset, and Haru. Or Asar, Aset, Haru. There we go. So if Haru was a result of sex magic, and we know that to be associated with Pluto, and Pluto is also associated with necromancy, which was also performed. So it was a performance of necromancy plus sex magic. See, majority of us can kind of wrap our heads around sex magic, but we're not really wrapping our head around necromancy. That's a little bit more forbidden. Because I guarantee you, again, if you're able to wrap your head around sex magic, then necromancy is still a little awkward. It's still a little strange, as it should be, because necromancy is all about communicating with the dead, which are not really dead, because how can you communicate with something that's no longer alive? So the fact that you can communicate with something that's dead means it's not really dead. So that means Osiris was never really dead. His spirit was separated from the physical shell, but he wasn't dead as we think death. We think of death, because we think of death as the end, when death is really the beginning. The Egyptians, or the Kemetic people, called death a brief interruption. That was their definition of death. It's a brief interruption. A brief interruption. That's all death is. Next level. Like it wasn't. That's why they had the whole Book of the Dead, to guide you to where you're supposed to be, so you can do what you need to do after the fact. It was a whole magical chants, magical spells to get you to where you needed to be after you separated from your physical shell. And that's why they call Osiris, or Asar, the Lord of the Underworld, or the Lord of the Dead. He became the Lord of the Dead because he mastered death, the true essence of death, because the true essence of death is life. So even in his death, he was able to generate life. That's what made him the Lord of the Underworld. Even in his death, he was able to generate life. The same thing occurs with the practice of necromancy, that we call communications with the dead. Because although you can say these beings are dead, they're able to give you new life. So the dead are able to give you new life, which is why it is forbidden. Because again, it's like, who the fuck is putting rules on this shit anyway? This is why I'm just on fuck the world mentality. And who the fuck is gonna tell you what's right and what's wrong, and tell you what you can and can't do? This is forbidden. You can't do it, or we're gonna kill you. You will get killed doing this shit at one point in time. This is just how serious it was. You can lose your whole life communicating with the dead. So it's like, okay, if they were willing to take your life because you're communicating with the dead, now you become amongst the dead. Who was taking it that seriously? Oh, that's right, religion. It seems to me like religion just banned every fucking thing you were supposed to do. Everything that keeps you not trapped in the matrix, everything that keeps you free while you're in the matrix, somehow became forbidden. Somehow it's not right to do. So that's why I say modern spirituality, or mainstream spirituality, is bullshit. Because if it was really that effective, it wouldn't be legal. Honestly. That's why they don't give a fuck about you meditating. They don't give a fuck about you reaching nirvana. Because as I said, that only takes you to the 20%. That doesn't make you supernatural, because you know how to get yourself to a place of no thought. That's not what makes a person supernatural, because we do that every time we go to sleep at night, or whenever you go to sleep. That's the equivalent to nirvana, because your consciousness has completely, you can say, it has entered into the void. You're not thinking about anything. Or you're just not aware of what you are thinking, but it's pretty much the same. You're in a infinite state. Time does not matter. Where you are doesn't matter. Nothing matters, because your consciousness is no longer inside of your physical shell. Taking it back to Osiris, his consciousness was no longer in his physical shell, except through the power of magic, the power of resurrection. So his spirit was pulled out of the land of the dead back into his physical shell briefly. And he knew exactly what to do. So just imagine dying, 93 Josh. Just imagine dying and then coming back. You'll kind of be confused. You're like, why the fuck am I back? But Osiris knew exactly what was going on. Like, oh, I'm back and I know exactly what I need to do. Let me get the job done. This is the approach we have to have. Why? Because if you claim to be the Christ, if you claim any type of Christhood, that means this is your goal. Your goal is to achieve the forbidden worlds, the forbidden arts. That is your goal if you consider yourself a Christ amongst non-Christ. If you consider yourself chosen. The only thing that makes you better is because you are willing to sacrifice more than everybody else. We don't even have to talk about your ability to heal, your ability to turn water into wine, your ability to do all these miracles. Like, we don't even have to deal with miracles. Because all that was possible because he knew what was coming up next. Because most people would not want to be the Christ if they knew all right, I got to go through the same thing he went through. Most people don't want to do that. And that's how the world is. I don't give a fuck how many Christians are on the planet. They're not Christ-like because they know what is required of that or to be that. It's a big requirement. It is the biggest requirement. It's a bigger requirement than any type of material goal you may have. I appreciate that, Incognito. So we have to get past the medium, which is meditation. Exactly. It's just a medium. Don't let nobody tell you that that's the goal. That's why I say fuck spiritualists. Fuck all of them. They're lying. They're just taking you to the void, but then they just leave your ass. Well, what do you do from here? They're nowhere to be found because that's all they're allowed to teach. Remember, it's just like Masons. They're only allowed to reveal certain things. It's the same thing. So that's why I say don't get caught up in all the bullshit. Don't get caught up. They're only allowed to reveal certain things. They're not allowed to reveal the true secrets. They're not allowed to. That's a part of taking an oath. You take an oath to conceal secrets. So they're never going to reveal to you the secrets. It just is what it is. And that's the majority of the so-called famous people. They're all a part of a secret society. They hold secrets. They're not going to tell you. It is what it is. That's just a part of the game. So you have to get the secrets on your own. And in order to get the secrets on your own, you got to go to the forbidden worlds. That's the whole purpose. You have to essentially wear the crown of thorns. See, everybody calling themselves kings and queens, right? But how many people say, oh yeah, my crown is of thorns? No, they ain't saying that. That's why I say fuck them all. Here's a middle fucking finger to these bitch ass motherfuckers. They not saying that. Their crown is full of gold and emblems and jewels and all type of gloriousness. That's what they're thinking in their mind. Their crown is spectacular. When they're missing the whole fucking point. Remember, they insulted Jesus with the crown. They're like, oh, you're the king? We're going to put a crown on your head, but this crown is going to be of thorns. That's why I say most people don't want that life. They're not trying to be Christ-like. This is what I'm saying. This shit is a game. This shit is a fucking game. Who the fuck do you know is talking about Christ consciousness but telling you, like, okay, well, are you going to transcend that cross? They don't even mention that shit. Like, oh, you're Christ? Oh, you're the Christ, you Christ conscious. Like, all right, that means you got to transcend the cross. They ain't gonna never say no shit like that. Oh, you got to wear that crown of thorns. get up on that cross, transcend. That never comes up. It's just a bunch of sweet talk. It's just a bunch of bullshit. Exactly. Martyrdom. You have to be a martyr. Nah, they not ready for that. Hell before heaven? Exactly. The Christ had to go into the inferno before he resurrected. And again, most people, that's not what they're signing up for. They're not signing up for that. See? That's why I say it's all a game. It's all a scam. It's all a scheme. Motherfuckers are just talking about any goddamn thing, making up their own. So you see, I'm not even making up anything. This is according to the story. I'm still within the Bible. Then I went to Osiris. I'm going directly to the stories. I ain't got to pull from no outside shit. I'm just sticking directly with the stories. Looking at the reality of them. Like, all right, well, if you are truly the Christ, then that means your crown is full of thorns. That don't mean your crown is full of jewels. It's a scam. So what do we do beyond meditation? Because I've been tired of just meditating and maybe not get anything to move forward. And that's exactly why. That's exactly why. You know, you're supposed to be tired of this shit, because it ain't getting you to where you're trying to get to. That's the whole point. That's how you know it's a fucking lie. It's a fucking scam. Because if it were just about meditation, we will all be Christ. You know how many people is fucking meditating in the world? Especially, we don't even got to say the world, in America. You know how many people is up on meditation? That's mainstream now. Once something becomes mainstream, you already know it's bullshit. So everybody promotes meditation as if that's the goal. It's not. Why? Because let's take it to Buddha. We can go to all the Christ. So I talked about Osiris. I talked about Jesus. I can take you right to Buddha. Because the same principle is in all of these stories. The same principle. Let's go to Buddha. What did Buddha do? Buddha completely abandoned all of his worldly riches. Remember, Buddha was born into a family of royalty. That's what most people don't realize. Buddha was born into a world where he basically was a prince. Anything he desired he already had. He didn't have to manifest a goddamn thing. He already had it. He was born into royalty. But he gave it up to become the Buddha. He gave all that up. He walked away from his own wife and son. He had a wife and child. He walked away from all that. A kingdom, a wife, and a possible family or future family. Walked away from all of it. And we know damn well the average person, that's exactly what they're trying to achieve. Let's just be real about this shit. So you see, it don't matter what story we investigate, we come to these same conclusions. We see what people think they're doing and what the real deal is. So while most people are trying to get to that royal place with, be able to touch any material thing that they want, that's most people's goals. But that wasn't the goal of the Buddha. That was not the goal of the Christ, and that was not the goal of Asar. That was none of their goals, because their goals was deeper. Because if Buddha didn't do what he did, we wouldn't even know about karma or reincarnation. That came from the Buddha. We only know about reincarnation because the Buddha revealed that secret. Nobody else revealed that secret. Remember, the Buddha went through every spiritual system that was hot at that time. Just read the biography. All of the spiritual systems that was hot, he went through all of those schools, and all of those schools required him to suffer. That's why you see the fat Buddha, but you probably have never seen the picture of Buddha when he was skin and bones. They don't show that image. They just want to show the image when he's bald-headed with a big-ass stomach, when he reached his enlightenment. But that was after the fact. They ain't gonna show you where he was skin and bones, where he was barely eating. He was almost dead. But that's just how dedicated he was to discovering who and what he was. He was literally on the brink of his own death. But again, they don't show those images. But though they exist, they show them in the East, but we don't see that Buddha in the West. All we see is the fat Buddha. We don't see the skinny Buddha, skin and bones. We don't see that. But that was a part of his journey, because he went through every spiritual system of that time and they all failed. It wasn't until he meditated under that tree, the Bodhi tree, and he had to descend into the underworld and conquer his own demons. That's what he obtained enlightenment, I would say. He obtained enlightenment after he faced his own demons, after he descended into the depths of hell. The same thing with Jesus, the same thing with Osiris. It's the same story over and over again. But somehow we missed that point. Somehow we're still trying to get the world spoils of Buddha. Somehow we're still trying to perform miracles like the Christ. Sometimes we're still trying to get the glory of Osiris when he was alive, because he had everything too. Osiris was, the fucking king when he was alive, doing what, he was on king mode. Which is what everybody is trying to get to, right? They're trying to get to the Christ before death. But then they stop there because they want to enjoy their life. They ain't trying to wear that crown of thorns. They're not trying to be the martyr. They're not trying to hang from that cross. They're not trying to meditate under a tree and descend into the underworld. They're not trying to do any of that. So what does that mean? That means the goals are negative, which is my point. The goals are still within that 80% of negative thought. Because you're not doing anything for your soul. You may be fulfilling the desires of the body, but the body is temporary. The soul is infinite. And there's no soul work occurring when the destination is in materialism. According to the Bible, Jesus didn't even have a church. So if Jesus didn't have a church, neither did the Buddha. Because it wasn't their goal. As the Bible said, wherever I'm not about to quote the Bible, but essentially the church was wherever the fuck he spoke. When he started speaking in his church, that's it. When he opened his mouth, his fucking church. It wasn't a building at a certain time. Okay, we about to go to church Sunday at 11 a.m. None of that was going on. Which is how you know just the whole religion of Jesus is bullshit, because it's not even what he was doing. He didn't promote the building of churches. He didn't promote the worship of idols. Worship me on the cross. He wasn't promoting any of these things. All right? I appreciate you, Josh, for the 930 cash app. I appreciate you. Salute to you. Salute to you. Salute to you. Much love, much love. Church means a body of people, not a building. Exactly. But you can't tell the people that in 2020. Well, 2022, right? So the 2020 and beyond reality, you can't tell people that now. Tell people that go to a church, stand y'all ass outside. They're gonna look at you like you're fucking crazy. Because at this point, it's business. It's no longer about worship. It's no longer about nirvana. It's no longer about achieving enlightenment, as they call it. It's about business. It's about making money. Which is why You tell them, stand y'all ass outside. Church don't have shit to do with a building. They're going to look at you like you're crazy. Like, we got business to attend to. We ain't listening to that. All right? I see you vibrations on fleek. We know these things to be true. They ain't trying to hear it. But we see it has nothing to do with the Christ. Nothing at all. Tell them to put on a crown of thorns. Like, oh, you want to be Christ-like. They constantly use his name in vain, though. Say his name in the most intimate moments. But asking them wear that crown of thorns, they're not going to do it. So what are they really doing? What is really being accomplished by using the name in vain? Nothing at all. And this goes for anybody, because we know this happens in every religion. It's completely different than what it was originally set up to be. On purpose. It was taken over. It became business. A lot of pastors don't even preach from the Bible. They give sermons. Exactly. They're just doing whatever they want to do. Breaking all type of rules. We already know what goes on in church. All type of mischievous activity. It's really more like a cult. If we just want to be completely honest, religion has become cult-like. You feel like you're in a cult, like, damn, these motherfuckers is like, you can't even have a normal conversation with these people. Like, they're just extra religious. It's like they don't even, again, we all have observed this. We're all in America, so we know this. Like, this is a spirit. It don't matter what city you're in. It don't matter if you're in the east, west, north, south. This is a spirit that people embody, that we observe every day of our lives. And we know that we don't identify with it. Like, damn, this shit is weird. It looks weird. It feels weird. We don't identify with it. That's why we're not over there with them. Because we don't know, it's just something within us tells us that ain't the way to go. Something within us, your own spirit, is telling you that ain't the way to go. So why would your spirit tell you that ain't the way to go when they are supposed to be following the Christ? But your spirit is like, nah, no, they're not. What does your spirit know that their spirit doesn't know? It's just that your spirit is probably older. Most likely, you're probably older than all these people like that. You probably been here longer. By longer, I mean you have been here more times. And you're just looking at it like, that takes wisdom. That takes wisdom. When you, like, you was never into it, as we know. You probably was never into it heavy, or maybe you was and you outgrew it. It's like, all right, this is silly. Like, then you like, this ain't about nothing. Your spirit was able to excel through those chambers very rapidly, as we call the quickening. You were able to quicken yourself and go through those schools in less than a lifetime. People be Christians their whole life, Muslims their whole life, whatever religion their whole life. You could say you was able to get out of it at some point. So you're not going to die what you was born. You may have been born Muslim. You're not going to die Muslim. Probably was born a Christian. Probably not going to die a Christian. Because your spirit just knows better. Because you see the spirit that people take on when they become a part of this cult. They take on a certain spirit, and it just is against your spirit. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel right. These people don't even feel like these can't be human beings. Counterfeit spirits, in the words of Bobby Hemmett, they are counterfeit spirits, look just like you, but they are nothing like you. Clones. They're clones and counterfeit spirits. So of course, you being the real deal, of course you're not going to resonate with that. With a bunch of cyborgs, of course you're not going to resonate with that. I think the crown of thorns has to do with the natal chart, with the points are the Western astrology. It's the evolution of the soul to get to the crown. It's a matter of suffering. And as we know, we already know most people don't even view the natal chart in full. They're just looking at 30 degrees of the entire 360 degrees. They only care about 30 degrees. So you see, just the mainstream is fucking idiots. Honestly, it's like they fuck up everything that they touch. Honestly. Once they got their hands on astrology and all these secret arts, they just diluted it and they made it so much so that people don't even believe in this shit. Because look at how the mainstream just fucked it all up. They print horoscopes in newspapers and shit. Like they really putting in some work. They're not. So it's easy to say, that ain't nothing. That's funny. Thank God for that demonic Catholics. Oh man, see, y'all never failed to impress me with those words. y'all never failed to impress me. I'm not even thinking about that. Yeah, you're right though. Those Catholics it's on a different time. I know. I went to a Catholic school when I was young. I had to go to church every Wednesday. Every Wednesday we was in that church. I went to a school called St. Cecilia. Those who are in Detroit, you know the school. I went to St. Cecilia, which is a woman saint at that. So yeah, you know that they was on a whole nother wave. But we see what the Vatican does. We see what the Pope does. They're no better. The actual people, the principles are intact. But you see, we got to shift through all the bullshit to even get to the core principles. Because it's been veiled by all this extra bullshit. You pure doppelganger. Yeah, so here y'all go with these words. But you're right, doppelganger. Exactly. Do you believe in progressive charts? Absolutely. Absolutely. That's honestly why I say 93. See, that's how I knew. Now I wasn't even going to speak about this. But that's how I figured out that 9-3 for me is more than just what I think it is. Because it was the year 1993 for me personally that my zodiac sign changed. 1993 was a year my zodiac sign changed, progressive wise. So I'm like, I see why I resonate with 93. That was actually the year that I had a zodiac change. I went from one sign to another sign in that year. So of course, 93. But I had to figure that out. I didn't know that at first. I probably figured that out maybe a couple months ago. So that was a new discovery for me. But that's how it's supposed to go. I'm like, so it's no coincidence why I say 93 all the goddamn time. Other than the obvious. Oh yeah, St. Francis Crabini. We know, yeah. I remember they named the whole projects after her. In Chicago, I think they shut them down. The Cabrini projects. I know about that history in Chicago, or just the saint herself as well. But I know they created whole projects in Chicago after her, and they was getting down. They was getting down as well. Progressive chart got me on my Aries rising. Exactly. The progressive charts is excellent. Because it lets you know your own personal evolution. So we keep the natal chart. Yes, your natal chart is your blueprint. And your progress chart is essentially where you are at the current moment. So your natal chart represents energies that you always have access to. Your progressive chart is basically where you are now. The energies you are working with currently. But you still will have access to those points in your natal chart because that's your snapshot. That's where your superpowers are. That's where your supernatural abilities are. So when you memorize and master your natal chart, it becomes very easy to get into your progress chart. But your natal chart is where you start. That's your starting point. That's your blueprint. So just like if you're a 5%er, you got to memorize 120 lessons. If you're a Christian, you probably got to memorize the 10 commandments. If you're a Muslim, you got to perform the 5 pillars of Islam. So the natal chart is the same thing. That's the introduction. So you introduce yourself to your natal chart in order to even understand your progress chart, because you're not going to understand your progress chart without knowing the foundation. Your natal chart represents your foundation. Then you evolve into the progress chart, because the progress chart is always changing. That's the main difference. Your progress chart changes every day versus your natal chart is stagnant. So of course, by the time you begin to keep up with the transits, now you can see what's going on in real time. But you start with that foundation. You start by having that foundation on lock. Alchemists require the great work. Exactly. It's all about the great work, and that's why it's called the great work, because it's greater than the material realm. Everybody else's work doesn't transcend the physical. People dedicate their whole life to non-spiritual things. So that's why it's called the great work, because it takes you out of this physical plane. That's why the last card of the tarot is the universe card, to take you beyond the physical plane. That's the last level of the great work. The first level is the fool. You start off as the fool, but you end up as the universe. That's a journey through the tarot. That's why the tarot is more than just looking at cards. The tarot is actually an alchemical process. If you go from the fool to the universe, that's alchemy. So that's why I say let everybody else do their fucking tarot readings. Like that's just all it's for. Let you use it for your magical purposes, so you can understand where you are in your great work. Like, what card am I? Just ask your spirit, what card am I? Where am I on my alchemical process? And what's the next level for me to achieve? Because there's 22 degrees in total. There's 22 major arcana. Everybody's on some level from 0 to 21. I miss you in my life. Well, where I been? Where I been? But no, I'm just playing. Just kidding. I appreciate it. Cause always, I'm always trying to provide value, That's what I'm here to do. I could never go back, no bridges left behind me. And you feel that way because you're really putting in work. Like, you shouldn't be attached to the past because you're so focused on moving forward. You're so focused on your great work. You don't, but you see it's people that can't even detach themselves from their past. They still be talking about that shit. People be still mad about the ass whoopings they got as a child. Still be mad at their parents and shit. 80% is negative. Whereas you can care less about, like, I don't give a fuck about my ass getting beat, or an ex relationship. You ain't worried about none of that stuff because you're constantly putting in that work. So you're not bound. You're not bound by the past like most people. Again, most people are bound by the past because 80% of the thoughts are negative. So what else are they going to talk about other than past life? Not the actual past life, but just what they have endured. Their personal struggles, basically. People find it very hard to look outside of their personal struggles because that's all they know, because they're thinking about the material plane. So if you're thinking strictly about the material plane, of course you're going to be mad and upset about some shit that happened in the past. I don't even think about the past. Exactly. Nor should you. Especially if it's not positive. Only if it's positive. Only in reflection. Like, I started looking back in my past only to look at the house vibrations. So when I think back in my past, I'm like, damn, like, what vibration did I grow up in? Like, I grew up in a 3 vibration. So I'm like, it's no wonder why my Jupiter is so powerful here. Like, I did grow up in a Jupiter household. I did grow up in a number 3. So that's really why I look at the past only like because I take notes every day, as everybody should already know. I'm taking notes every day. So the only time I look in the past is to check on these notes is to check on, what work that I put in. I need to basically refresh my memory on previous work to see what's going on, just in case I may have forgot. So other than that, yeah, you really shouldn't give a fuck about the past, because every day is a new moment. Every moment you are generating new currency. So there's no need to dwell in the past. So you can visit the past, but there's no need to dwell on it. And yes, people dwell on it because they have a victim mentality, which is taught. It's a taught. We enable people, calling them victims. Nobody is a victim. Nobody is a victim. Because if we were victims, we would not be able to transcend it. We are able to transcend any trauma. It don't matter what you have gone through, you can transcend it. I guarantee you, it don't matter what. Because your spirit doesn't feel any of that. Your spirit is not affected by your physical trials. Your spirit has never been touched. Your spirit is pure. Your spirit has never went through any trauma. It's just the physical shell has. But the spirit hasn't. So that's why the spirit can transcend the physical, because the spirit is not harmed. The spirit is just waiting for you to activate it. But it's hard to activate it when we're attached to the physical shell, as if that's the end all be all. Thinking about all the shit that we've been through. When, yeah, it really shouldn't matter that much. If you understand the totality of existence, we need to link up. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Just hit me up. That's never a problem. That's never a problem. Yeah, just contact me. That's never a problem. Never a problem at all. I reference the past to gain wisdom, and that's exactly what you should be doing. That's the only reason you should reference the past, is to gain further wisdom, because the past is filled with wisdom if properly guided. So just like I said, I look back in the past, it's like, oh, what vibration was I in? What was I doing? Like, what deities was I working with? What was going on at that time? Because I've documented all this stuff. So I got the whole past documented, basically. I got my whole past documented. I've been taking notes for like at least the last 10 years now. So I got like 10 years worth of, I can just, because I wrote everything down. Like, it is what it is. Because I use it for reference. So for example, I'm like, what happened when I was in the number 3 home? Because there's patterns. So basically, I go into the past to remember patterns. Like, I remember when I was in a 3 home, these events happened. Now they're happening again. So it's like, so it helps me to learn the numbers. That's how I personally use it. Because whatever vibration you're in, there are certain patterns that occur. Then when you go into that vibration again and you realize, oh, this has happened before when I was in this same vibration, it's just a different time. Like, oh, so this is a pattern of that number. So you go into the past to recognize patterns, which allows you to gain wisdom. Like, oh, I see what's going on. Then you can make decisions based on that wisdom. Life of the scribe, exactly. And that's what we all are. We are the scribes. We are the Tahuti, right? I got the scribe right here. You know what I mean? We got the scribe right here. Shout out to you, Dank Wizard. You already know. We keep the scribe right by us. So we keep Tahuti right there. Because that's the goal. How do you know what vibration you in? Just break down your address. So for example, if you live in the address 9255, you just add all the numbers up and reduce it to a single digit. So 9 plus 2 is 11. 11 takes you to 1 plus 1, which gives you a 2. Then we know 5 plus 5 is a 10. 10 plus 2 makes 12. Then 1 plus 2 gives you a 3. So you're basically just reducing the numbers. That's all. So house numerology. I made a whole video on it. Just go back, just type in house vibration. I made a whole video about it. How to change your house vibration. Made the video probably back in 2014. Right? 403, 4 plus 3, that gives you a 7. So you would be in a 7 vibration, which is the energy of Neptune. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, very, very simple. And that allows you to understand the differences Because again, you're not limited. Because let's just say I want to go into a 3 vibration. So for example, if you wanted to go into the 3, you would have to add. Let's see what you would have to add to the door to go into a 3. Believe it's a 5, yes. So you would add a 5 to the back of your door. Now you're in a 3. So it's very easy to change the vibration if it doesn't suit you. What's up, Punk? I don't want to mispronounce your name. Just coming into a live stream, salute to you. How can I let the past go? You have to realize that the past is valuable, just not all of it. Meaning, just focus on the moments that are constructive. As I was saying in my example, if I ever look back into the past, I'm just looking back at the house vibrations. I'm just looking at like, oh, okay. I go into the past just to go into the future, basically. To go into the past just to go into the future. So if you ever do decide to go into the past, just make sure that you're taking it into the future. So if you feel, hurt in your heart, you feel like, man, this fucking past fucked me over. And it very well may have. The past may have fucked you over. It very well may have. I know, especially if you are of a spiritual kind. You, again, crown of thorns. You probably went through that crown of thorns. You probably are the Christ and got your ass crucified. You probably did. I know I have. But you're like, this is just what it is. It's, again, it ain't for you to feel like a victim. It's like, this is actually for me to come into the realization of who and what I am, the Christ. So if your past is full of suffering and hardship, it's just because you're the Christ. Meaning you must own that crown of thorns. You must own your crown. You have a crown, it's just of thorns. Don't allow the mainstream to confuse you thinking that your crown needs to be full of gold and jewels and it needs to be luxurious. It starts with those thrones, or those thorns, the crown of thorns. It starts with the thorns. Why? Because it draws blood. Remember, they put the thorns on the head, and that draws blood. And we know the secret currency of blood. Blood is very powerful. Especially your blood. That is the most powerful. That's more powerful than sacrificing an animal or something like that. So just know that you are the Christ. If your life is full of suffering, just know that that's what makes you able to process this type of information in the first place. Because everybody else who didn't go through all that madness, they're not able to process the information. They may, they may dibble and dabble in it, but we're talking about actually going into the depths of the great work. Using the tarot for what it's supposed to be used for. So you can go deeper. That's why you can take the content like me. Most people can't even take this type of content. They'll be offended. But I know everybody here isn't offended because we know this to be true. So as they say, the truth hurts. The truth hurts, but at the same time, the truth also liberates. As they say, the truth hurts, but the truth will also set you free. And we seek freedom. We want to be free in mind and spirit. But in order to be free in mind and spirit, we must become the martyr. Meaning we must be willing to give up it all in order to gain it all. If you want to gain it all, you must be willing to let go of it all. That includes your past. So if you want to gain a new future, you must let go of the old past. Because you can have nothing. You can have no money in your pocket, nothing, but you still have the past. That's a currency that you still hold on to. So even people that have nothing, just look at it. Even people who have nothing, they actually do have something. They have the past that they have not let go of. And that's what keeps people down. So when you see people struggling and going through all type of hardship, it ain't really because of what's going on in the now, because they're not in the now. They're in the past, I guarantee it. If you have a conversation, again, I've been all through these streets. I've had these conversations with the people, so I know this from firsthand experience. Nobody had to tell me this. So when I was navigating, when I was going through my trials and tribulations, I'm communicating with other people. And it's like they couldn't even communicate their story without bringing up some past shit. So that's how I know is they're just locked in the past. You can't even have a conversation with these people without them bringing up the past. Try it for yourself. Go buy a pack of cigarettes, and wander off in the bowels of your city. Because somebody gonna ask you for $1. Somebody gonna ask you for a cigarette. Give it to them. Then have a little conversation with them. What? See if they bring up the past. Or are they going to be in the now? Again, you can try it for yourself. The universe recently told me that using a crystal ball will help me tremendously. Already using it. I noticed increased awareness within me. Exactly. Crystal magic is very real. That's earth magic. So crystals are very powerful. Metals are very powerful. Drugs are very powerful. Anything that come up out this earth is very powerful. Mother Nature is not playing around. That's why most people are afraid of psychedelics, because Mother Nature will show your ass who you really are with those psychedelics that grow straight out of the earth. So Mother Nature is not playing around. Mother Nature will show you those keys once you embrace her. But you see, most people don't truly embrace Mother Nature, because Mother Nature want to take you to the darkness. Mother Nature want to take you to your depths. Mother Nature wants to destroy you and rebuild you. That's what Mother Nature wants to do. That's what psychedelics do. It destroy you. It destroys you, and then you have to rebuild yourself. But you see, that's a process. That ain't something that everybody's willing to go through. But you see, Mother Nature, that's just how she is. You can say she is ruthless. Mother Nature is ruthless. You see, she'd be tearing shit up. Mother Nature is tearing shit up. But she also will allow you to be resurrected if you understand, or basically if you surrender to her. We'll say that if you surrender to her, because most people are not. They're running away. They're running away from her. But if you surrender to her, then you're going to see her grace. You're not going to see her fury like most people. Like the mainstream just sees the fury of Mother Nature. We see COVID going on. We see tornadoes happening. It was just tornadoes in New Orleans and Texas. We see all type of destruction. Like Mother Nature is mad as fuck. But her grace is there for those who surrender to it. Like, God damn. Mother Nature is really trying to get me to pay attention here. When you surrender to her, then you see a different side. That's why the High Priestess in the tarot, which comes right after the Magician, she's between that black pillar and that white pillar. She's between worlds. That's the whole thing. She can see both sides. She understands the harshness, but she understands the grace. You have to understand both sides of Mother Nature. Mother Nature is dualistic, like the High Priestess card. Mother Nature is between the pillar of severity and the pillar of mercy, Kabbalah. Right? I got it right here. Right? Black pillar, white pillar. Pillar of mercy, pillar of severity. This is the feminine pillar. This is the masculine. High Priestess sits between the two pillars. Right? You see, I just got this just within arm distance. See, I just keep this by me, just like you saw the scribe. I just keep everything at arm's length. I even have these crystals. Sorry, let's see. All type of stuff here. Got my runes. My mojo bag. Got runes. So if we're talking about crystals, you see I got the runes. This is lapis lazuli. You can't see it. I know it's black and white, but these are blue. Lapis lazuli. Runes. Alright, so just keep all this. I sleep with these actually. Sleeping tools. Help me dream. So, it's, I just got these tools. I got a whole dream altar. I got a bunch of imagery. In my room. So I put a bunch of imagery by the dream altar, crystals, imagery, and sleep butt ass naked. and go straight to the dream world, go straight to the astral plane. I'll be having some crazy ass dreams. But that's what we're supposed to be doing, right? We're supposed to be having some exciting ass dreams so that you can be inspired. Like, you wake up inspired because you remember your dreams. Like, oh shit, that was some crazy stuff. If you don't remember your dreams, you probably are not going to wake up inspired. But when you remember your dreams, like, because your dreams is always out of bounds. The dreams is always out. There's always some strangeness going on. What's up, Lorene? I see you. Salute to you, Josh. Peace to you. Almost lost my girlfriend due to not letting go of the past, trauma, and addiction to bad drugs, not marijuana or psychics. You talking about what drug? What drug you talking about? Want to see if you got enough courage. What was your drug of choice? I'll tell you mine. That's funny. I think I've done everything, but I don't do no needle. I don't do that needle work, but I pop my little X pills. I don't say I do it, but I have. I've tried ecstasy. Mushrooms, LSD, DMT, injecting cocaine. I salute you. I salute you for being honest. And I'm glad you was able to overcome that, because I know it's not easy. Because there's people that never do. There's some people who never come out of that void. So the fact you was able to go to the depths, which that's what drugs are supposed to do. As I said, Mother Nature destroys you. Mother Nature tears you apart. And then allows you to resurrect yourself once you embrace her grace. Yeah. So that's what it's about right there. I appreciate the honesty. You see, and I'm gonna be honest right back with you. That's what it's about. Salute to you for your honesty. Cause you didn't have to say it. Yeah, Santa Morte is popular here. Lady Death. You from Argentina. Salute to Argentina. I see you, Nina. Do you recommend waist beads? Yeah, absolutely. I believe the waist beads, help, sculpt the waist, especially the lower waist. So yeah, I definitely don't see any reason why you shouldn't activate that. So definitely, for the women, yeah, definitely get you some waist beads. They look all sexy and all that. Absolutely, absolutely. I think women be using like those yoni eggs. They be putting the yoni eggs inside, healing their wounds. Is all type of, feminine spiritual tools that'll be good for the soul. So whatever you can get your hands on that you feel that will charge you up. Yeah, I think I should know where to get some. So yeah, that shouldn't be an issue, Nina. No problem. Yeah, I'll definitely help you to locate some. You get whatever you need to get. That's no problem whatsoever. I read that more people are working with Santa Morte. Do you ever work with her? I absolutely do. I think I have her seal. On deck. Let me see. So since y'all bringing up Lady Death, y'all think I'm playing around? Okay, watch. I think I have her seal. Let's see. See, this is wasn't prepared to show it, but let's see if I really got her seal. Let's see how deep I'm into it. Give me 1 second. Let me go grab this seal. I will be right back. Okay. Back in here. Alright, since y'all mentioning Apollo spirits, y'all think I'm playing with y'all. I got a bunch of those. Got a bunch of those. Uh-oh. 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 You say these is old too, so this ain't recent. You see the creases, these are all in use. Okay. Yeah, we ain't playing around. We ain't playing around. Okay. We ain't playing around. We got more. We ain't playing around. We got more. Think we got more. We ain't playing around. Think I got my blood on this one. So this one is like red. This one got a special energy, yeah. So it's, yep. Since y'all bringing up Lady Death, that's El Cristo Negro, which is the consort of Lady Death. So that is the El Cristo Negro, right? Mama Chola and Tranquil Spirits. What else we got? Not playing around here. I ain't playing around here. Most people probably don't even know what that is. It's a whole deity. I had t-shirts with Apollo on them. Yeah. How's that been working out for you? What's your experience with the t-shirts? I even got some crazy stuff over here too. You know what I mean? Take it to another level. You already know what that's about. Uh-oh. Exactly. We ain't playing around over here. Got seals for days. What deity is that? Which one? I showed a bunch of them. But those are Apollo spirits, Apollo Mayombe spirits. Those are Apollo spirits. Then this is the seal of Lucifer. Oh no, sorry for no. You are good. But those are Apollo Mayombe spirits. This is the seal of Lucifer. This is a swastika. This is Nomo. Sumerian fish. It's Nomo. But yeah, I don't know. I think Lady Death may be in my wallet, but I grabbed those seals to show the Lady Death because Lady Death keeps coming up. But I've worked extensively with Lady Death. With all of the Apollo spirits, actually. I have very intimate. See, the Apollo spirits is what opened up a lot for me, honestly. Because that was the first time I started working with sigils. I wasn't working with sigils before the Apollo spirits. That's when I first started working with the sigils. And it opened me up to a whole nother world, especially because I was in LA. So that culture is deep in LA. So I went to LA with these Apollo spirits. Whole different energy. That's what really got things kicked off, honestly. DMT changed me. Absolutely. DMT changed me too. LSD changed me. Shrooms changed me. Every psychedelic. Like, I'm very appreciative of Mother Nature for that. That's when shit got real, when I started activating those psychedelics. That's when it got real. That's just LA shit, I guess. That's just LA. Most of the time when I did psychedelics, I didn't know I was going to do psychedelics. It came to me straight out of the spirit. It wasn't like, okay, I woke up with the intention of doing psychedelics. It don't really happen like that. But I did my research. It's like I had to do thorough research. Then after doing thorough research, somehow the psychedelics came to me. People were like, oh, I got some shrooms. Like, huh? You ain't never said this shit before. And then all of a sudden, people who didn't have shrooms, now they got them. It's like, it's all type of stuff just started opening up. When I started doing those deeper studies, like, oh, that may be something I'm interested in. So it didn't come to me and I didn't know what was going on. So by the time I did any psychedelic, I had already did thorough research. So then it started coming once. So basically I had to get comfortable within myself with the psychedelics before I actually came into contact with them. Right? Santissima is getting real popular on the net. Yeah, because that's the dark mother. That's the dark mother. So I perfectly understand why she's popular. I know from first-hand experience, but I also know from outer experience. She is, that's the goddess. That's the real goddess for real. Especially if we're talking about America. That's the goddess for real. That is the goddess. The goddess. That's the top head honcho. That's the head. I think that's masculine, but that's the queen, right? Because she's a skull. That's the high priestess with the skull. So I perfectly understand why she's popping. I perfectly understand why. Let's see. Oh, my man's got the symbol of peace. Don't let the masses see it. Like, nah, the masses ain't gonna see none of this. I just show y'all. Ain't nobody else seen this. And even like people in my own household, they don't know. Again, this is completely private. Only showing it to y'all because this is a private setting. So, but I'm just showing and proving because Lady Death was coming up in the chat, and I'm like, yeah, like I'm with it. Like I'm down in the game for real. So I'm just showing and proving that, yeah, that's what I do for real. Very effective. If you're into that though, because everybody may not be into Palo Mayombe, right? Some people may be into voodoo, right? Some people may be into the Aztec, right? It all depends on what sparks your interest, right? That's what you should go towards, whatever sparks your interest. Palo is strong, exactly. So that may be a good or a bad thing depending on what you're trying to accomplish, what you're trying to open up, what chamber you're trying to access. Never tried DMT, but LSD and shrooms changed me. Exactly, as it should. Especially LSD. Oh, LSD is it's like no words for that one. I completely understand. You feel like you dreaming. I was seeing all type of shit. What was that shroom? Like, nah, that was it's like those experiences is ridiculous. Yeah, I think was that the last time I went to Devil's Gate, I was on LSD. Yeah. It's just craziness. Like, yeah, why would I go to Devil's Gate on LSD? This is how my mind is thinking. Like, oh, I need to go to Devil's Gate on a psychedelic. Why? Because I remember going there before and I saw a mushroom. Not a mushroom, but like Toad on Mario from the Mario series. Toad. And I'm like, somebody had did graffiti and they had graffiti Toad. And I'm like, wait a minute. My mind clicked. I'm like, that's a symbol for shrooms. I'm like, oh, so you're supposed to do shrooms here. You're supposed to do psychedelics here. I'm like, oh, okay. So the next time I did something, all right, I need to come here and do psychedelics. So that's how it is. I'm like, that's why graffiti is. Graffiti will let you know what's going on wherever you are. Wherever you are, you want to know what's going on, just look at the graffiti. The graffiti tells all the secrets. Because the seers, the ones who's doing the graffiti is the seers. So they're just embodying the energy of the atmosphere and they're putting it into an artistic form. Especially in the deep, darker places where it doesn't get removed instantly. See, I didn't even know. See, it's crazy to me. Cause Toad is a if you look at Toad, he looks like a Muslim. Like, it's like, this is that big ass shit on his head. That's a head wrap. He looks like a genie. Tell me I'm lying. Look up Toad right now. He looks like a genie. I never noticed that as a child playing Mario. I had to look at it as an adult, as an occultist. So I'm like, wait a minute, Toad looks like a genie. He is a genie. So I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I remember playing Mario 64. You jumping through those pictures. I'm like, this is more than what I think it. I remember playing this as a kid. I'm like, wait, this is more than I think it is. There's more going on here. Mario jumping through pictures, which you can actually do in the astral plane. You can. I didn't went through pictures. I know that shit to be true. I'm like, I was doing this, playing this game, and I'm thinking, oh, people, this is just a video game. Even with the Mario 64, I know y'all played it with the magic carpet. When it's the boats in the sky boats. I know y'all remember all this stuff. The sky boats with the rainbows. I'm like, wait a minute, this is not just a game here. Anyway, like, this is a psychedelic trip. It's a psychedelic trip. I had to go to school in a couple hours. Salute to you. Salute to you. I appreciate you for tuning in. I got the bomb LSD. Yeah, I understand. Like, that ain't something that you just come into contact with. Like, I don't have a plug for psychedelics. Like, if I want to do psychedelics, I don't even have a plug. That's just how disconnected I am. But maybe I need to get back on my square with that. Like, y'all bringing this up in abundance. Maybe I need to come on here while I'm on the psychedelic, and we'll see what comes out. I think I only did one video on a psychedelic, and that was years ago, like 2015. I ain't did it since. But maybe it's time. Maybe I need to pop some shrooms and do a live stream, see what comes out. I plan on going to the dam in the adjacent months. Psychedelics shouldn't be required, right? I might not get through the airport. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I would not suggest taking the psychedelics through the airport. Yeah, I definitely don't suggest that. I would say, yeah, if you can't get there by train, then yeah, you have to get the psychedelics after you touch down. But yeah, definitely don't travel with psychedelics. You asking for trouble. Laser sword disc. That's LSD. LSD is laser sword disc. That's I would have never. Such a unique mind. Y'all have such unique minds. I would have never, like, I would have never put that together. Such a unique mind. I'm gonna try LSD this summer for sure. Definitely enjoy your trip. Enjoy your trip. You know, just make sure you're in a safe place. You're in a safe environment. If you're doing it with other people, make sure you have full trust, and you will have a beautiful trip. Be very beautiful. Oh wait. Damn, wait a minute. I'm like, did I do it? Wait a minute. Fuck, I completely forgot about the experience. I did do LSD recently. I fucking completely forgot. I have. Wait a minute. I have done. I complete that. All right. I have done it recently. I don't think, was it this year though? No, I don't think it was this year, but I think it was 2021. The end of 2021, I believe. Yeah, oh shit. I don't know. How the fuck did I was like, I deleted it from my mind. Alright, yeah, so I did LSD last year. I guess the end of last year. Yeah. Yep. What happened? I think I got the images. Yeah, I got a knife pulled on me. Yeah, how can I forget that? It was me and the homie. Shout out to the homie. The homie came through. You know, I won't mention the name because, you know, it's illegal activity, so I won't mention the name. Homie came through. Had LSD. And we went into the tunnels of Las Vegas. We know Las Vegas has 300 miles of tunnel underneath the city. So Las Vegas has a whole underground city. So we went into the tunnels. And we were like, all right, we're going to do some graffiti. So that's exactly what we did. And we pissed off the people that actually stay in the tunnels. They got so pissed off. They're like, yo, what the fuck are y'all doing? Who pulled the fucking knife on us? We pulled like, what the fuck are y'all doing? Like, are y'all trying to make the block hot right now? Cause we on LSD. We ain't paying attention. We fucking everything up. So we bought fucking spray cans and we fucking everything up. They like, yo, we're like, what the fuck y'all doing? Yeah, so I got a knife. I don't know how that slipped my mind. I guess they tried to push that away, but yeah. I think I had the evidence though. I should be able to pull up let me pull up the evidence. Oh yeah, you saw the documentary on the underground tunnels? Yeah, it's a whole underground city. I think Vegas is the only city that got 300 miles of tunnel like that. Give me a second. I think I got, let me see. I should be able to find the yeah. Give me a second. I have the evidence. You see, I completely disconnected. That's crazy. I completely disconnected from that. That's crazy. Hold on. Let me show the evidence, though, y'all. Let me show that. So I'm like, yo, make sure to get a picture. Because we basically got ran out of the tunnels like, y'all can't be doing this shit. I'm like, all right, yeah. So we almost lost our lives that day. So yeah, almost wasn't here. But I guess I would pull a knife on me too. If you don't know what's going on, I guess I would pull a knife on me too. Like, what the fuck are you doing? So I don't blame him. Shout out to him. But let me see. I need to find the videos. I should have a video of it actually. Wait a minute. I may be able to show it on the iPad. Hold on. Let me see if I can show it on the iPad here. No, give me a second. Let me see. I may be able to track down the evidence here. So that way y'all can see the color. So let me see if I can go into videos here. Yeah, I'm glad y'all mentioned this because you see, I completely forgot about this. Let me see if I can find the evidence. Oh, is this? No, that's not it. Let's see. Hold on. I may need to download it. Give me a second. Let's see. But yeah, while I'm pulling this up, give me a second. Been to Vegas twice, love the city? Absolutely. The Oasis, again, there's a lot of history here. A lot of native history, that's what I'm talking about. Did you visit the Gypsum Cave? That's what I want to know. Did you visit the Gypsum Cave, which is one of the oldest caves in the Southwest? Did you visit the Gypsum Cave? And if you didn't, make sure you visit when you come back. The Gypsum Cave, full of gypsum and uranium. So when I say, oh, Vegas made me an astrologer, it's because of the uranium in the ground. Ah, damn, you broke a bone? God damn. You broke your pinky. Fuck it. I understand, though. I understand. Got so smashed. I understand. As long as you enjoyed yourself. Fuck it. I want to move to Vegas, so you'll definitely enjoy here. Especially if if you're like a inside person. Vegas is all about inside entertainment. Because if you can handle the extreme heat, so yeah, be prepared for extreme heat, especially in the summertime. Ain't nobody gonna be outside, so just make sure you're okay with having inside entertainment. If you're good with that, you'll be good to go. Because everything is 24/7 pretty much, so you can wake up at 3 a.m., head over to the strip or any hotel or casino, make something happen. So that's a benefit of Vegas, where you can get your night started whenever you want to get it started, versus curfews like other cities. You ain't gotta deal with all that. All right, here we go. Let's see if I can get these. All right. Second. Yep. Here we go. Let's see if I can put it on screen. Alright, there we go. Let me see if I can make this bigger. Let me make this bigger. Alright, let me move my face out the way for a second. Let me make this bigger so everybody can see this. So here's evidence of the LS. So you see we were by the tunnels. So the homie did this left hand side where you see it looks like a K, a M, and a S. And then I did all this, you see this red and black graffiti towards the entrance of that tunnel. I did all that. But not the graffiti right there on top. Let me see if I can zoom in. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. Look at that. So yeah, I didn't do that where you see that L, that K, that B, that O. But I did all that under. See, all that I did. So that's my work right there. So yeah, you see I'm on LSD and I'm just scribbling on the ground all these ancient symbols. You see those eyes, you see those astrological symbols. So yeah, you know that's all me. You see the moon, you see the sun, that's astrological symbols. And then that's what the homie did right there. That's his piece. NYC is not the same since C19. The energy is different now. Oh, really? Tell me about it. Cause the last time I've been to NYC, it was before C19. So what actually has changed? So that's LSD for your ass. So yeah, it was gold. So so it's a little gold. So you see some black paint, some red paint, and some gold. You see eyes right there. Let me see if I have it clearer. But yeah, you see like a little chair right here and shit. That's what I'm saying. Motherfuckers is just chilling. Let's see if I can play it. Yeah. So as you see, fucking LSD for your ass. Let's see if I have a closer image. Give me a second. Let me turn this off for a second. Let me see if I got a still image here. See if I can see the still image. Let's see. All right, here's a still image. See if that's a little better. Oh yeah, I think that's a little clearer. I think that's. Give me a second. So yeah, you see a pair of eyes. You see Mind Slayer. I put Mind Slayer. See fire again. So this. And so I started on the. Let me see if so if you see the ground, see I'm just putting all type of foreign symbols on the ground, then covering the black with red. So you see a bunch of black symbols with the red. So yeah, so all that in the course of, I don't know, it probably took an hour and a half. So yeah, by that point, they're like, yo, what the fuck are y'all doing? Pull a knife on us. So yeah, so that's my last LSD trip. That's the evidence from the last LSD trip. And again, that's the homies' work. So yeah, we was just made that shit happen. There you go. Let me see if I can show you something else here. I really don't know how did I forget that though. I completely forgot I did that. Let's see. I think I got one more video here, and we'll get back to it. Cause we had to hurry up and get the fuck up out of there. So that's why we don't just have like close up photos. We had to get the fuck up out of there instantly. So that's why the images are so far away. We had to get the fuck up out of there. Yeah. All right. So let me get back to the art here. Let me bring my face back. There we are. Let me pull Procreate back up. All right. So yeah, just showing some evidence of my madness. So yeah, you see when I get off those drugs, I just start going crazy with the graffiti. That's just what happened in my personal experience. I just go crazy with the graffiti. I still got the spray cans. I got spray cans right now, ready to put in that work. All the businesses are closing and everything shuts down early. It's a ghost town. The subways are full of homeless people. It's a weird vibe. And I don't like to hear that. You know, because yeah, it was completely different way. But yeah, I'm glad I was able to see it in this New York in this greatness. Because yeah, I literally came right before the whole COVID thing. So I'm glad I was able to see it in this gracefulness. But yeah, I don't like hearing that. You know, I'm always talking about my love for New York. So the fact that it hasn't changed for the better, I would say maybe a couple more years it'll get back on point. We'll see. But I understand, like, yeah, if you're in NYC, why you would want to come over to the West. So yeah, I completely understand that. Cause yeah, LA may be a little bit too crowded for you, maybe a little bit too much. So Vegas is like a good medium. You know, if you prefer your isolation, you kind of want to go out when you want to. Then when you want to be a hermit, you can be a hermit. So let me see. Let me do something in real time. Then we'll get up out of here. You don't have to stay too crazy. All right. You grew up there. Shout out to you. Shout out to the NY. Everybody I know from NY or met for NY has a unique personality. I would say that. When something hit NY, it hit it hard, but it always come back stronger. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. So that's why I say, yeah, give it a little time. I'm pretty sure NY will bounce back. So yeah, I have no doubt in my mind that it will. If anything, I think it's actually more spiritual. I probably may actually prefer New York as a ghost town, because when I was there, it's like it was people all over the goddamn place. I had to power walk around that bitch. I had to power walk. That's what New York did. I'm like, oh, people don't even walk normal. I'm fucking power walking. Then people crossing the street don't even give a fuck that cars is coming. I'm like, and like New York showed me a different level of beast mode for real. Like people ain't waiting for cars. Like yo, whenever they can, cause I guess the streets are a little bit smaller, so you can just walk. Like you know the streets are big as hell in the West Coast. Like you ain't just about to run across the street, but in NY you can just zip through those little bitty streets. So you just see people, they ain't waiting for the light to change. People are just constantly moving. They don't give a fuck. Like cars, I remember seeing cars have to literally force their way through the people. That's just how like the people they're not paying attention to the lights. The people keep coming to the point where the car literally has to pull up all the way to the people and literally force them to stop moving. Like I'm like, it's only in NY. I think I got where is that video? I have a video. I don't know where. I'm not gonna waste no time trying to find that. I got a lot of pictures and video of NY, but it's in one of these folders, and I'm not going to bore y'all with all that. Trying to find these things. But let me whip up some art real quick. You know, and we'll go ahead and check out. You know. It's always an honor hanging with the divine. Like I can feel all of you. It's always an honor. As you see, when I come on, my energy rises up every time we merge as one. Every time we form like Voltron, my energy rises up. So I definitely want to shout out everybody who participates, everybody who watches, everybody who continues to exchange energy, because you see, you know, we're gonna constantly keep elevating. You know, I'm gonna always come with the futuristic spirituality, as we want to call it. I'm gonna always come with the dark codes. It's not gonna never stop until that casket drop, as we know, right? So we're gonna keep it going. So let me see what I can do here. Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. Let's go ahead and do that first. And do a little something. Yeah, we can start with that, sure. No problem. Yeah, let's go to script. Alright. So all we need right there. Boom. Boom. Gonna whip this up real quick. Look. Oh, excellent. So now we're gonna duplicate bow. Yep. Boom. Oh yeah. Look at that. And we'll put the final black. We're gonna blacken it out. Like so, yep, right there. Oh, yeah, there we go. Look at that. There we go. Make something unique. Yeah, shout out to the Wu-Tang. I see you. So, are we like Power Rangers? That'd be funny. Yes. We created a unique essence. That's what I will say. We created a unique essence, something that I could not create on my own. So everything I reveal is because consciousness grows when we merge. As they say, when two or more minds come together, it manifests the divine. So even though we're thousands of miles apart or hundreds of miles apart, we're still merged. So I'm able to speak things that I wasn't even thinking that I was going to speak. So that's the power of consciousness. This is the power of consciousness. That's how I can be on for hours at a time. It ain't just me. It's a synchronicity between many minds. And you see, we don't need a bunch of people. All we need is grand minds. We are the grand minds. There's great minds, but we are the grand minds. That's why we're speaking about the stuff we're speaking about, and everybody else speak about what they speak about. But you see, we keep it in reality here. That's what the fuck we do, right? So that's why I reveal everything here. Because the only oath I have is to you. The only oath I have is to you. My oath is not in a different organization. There is nobody holding secrets back. So I reveal the secrets because the oath is to you, right? We are no different. So the same, I know that y'all would do the same for me. If things were reversed, y'all would do the same for me. So I have no doubt in my mind. More like X-Man. I see you, Harmony 9. I appreciate you. All the same. Appreciate your service. You know what I mean? Salute to you, man. That warrior spirit. See, that's what gives me that respect. That's a warrior right there. You know what I mean? That's what you call a real warrior. Shout out to you. As within, so without. So I just want to let everybody know that. So it's not about me, it's about us. We are a collective. We are a consciousness. So when we merge together, we become greater to the point where we become grand. Right? You already know. So that's why I always want to show love. I always want to show love. I see that skull, Oshun, with the skull. Yeah, hopefully you using that seal. You know what I mean? Had me on the fucking phone for 8 hours. Hopefully you taking heed. I ain't playing with this shit. Hopefully you taking heed. Hey, I fucks with you. I should salute to us. I see you, Chief. I see you, Chief. Salute to you. Each and every one of you, whether you make yourself known or not. One love. Because I know there's also people, that's not, that are, you can say, in the shadows, that don't make themselves known, but you're appreciated all the same. You are appreciated all the same, whether you make yourself known or not. So I definitely want to appreciate everybody that makes themselves known, but also everybody who remains unknown. I appreciate you all the same. Because it's still consciousness. We are feeding each other. We feed each other so that when we go out to the world, we feel great. I be doing these live streams. You see, I already been up. I ain't even been to sleep. When I end this, I ain't going to bed. I done got a whole new burst of energy. I probably would have went to sleep if I didn't do the live stream. Got a whole new burst of energy about to start today. Great. Feel great. So hopefully I was able to extend that. And that's what I strive to do. So hopefully you feel better than you did before you came in. Right? I talk a lot of dumb shit, but you know where my heart is? Absolutely. That's why, I do my best to show patience and grace. Try not to bash out nobody. Cause that's not what we're here to do. We're here to uplift and elevate. Alright. Let everybody else say positive vibes only. This is just grand minds. We are the supernatural vibes. There we go. So let everybody else have the negative vibes and the positive vibes. We stay with the 5%, with the supernatural vibes. The ones who's going to actually make the change that's necessary. Because we're willing to put everything on the line to make it happen. And that's what it's supposed to be. As you see, I put it all on the line. It's well documented. But I know I'm not the only one. I know everybody in their own world has put in their sacrifice, has put in their work. And that's what makes this so grand, because I know everybody is in their own reality putting in that work. And that's why you're here. That's why you will want to be here at all, because you understand the work that's being put in. So just as I continue to put in the work, I know I inspire those to continue to put in the work. Never give up. Even if you feel like it's just you. I'm just letting you know it's never you. you always have access to me, especially in the astral plane. I know I'll be visiting some of y'all motherfuckers in the astrals. So this shit go way beyond the physical, and I know it's the same way. Y'all come to me too. So it ain't about distance, it ain't about time, it ain't about space. This is the infinite collective. And that's why we still here after 8 years. So whether you're new or you've been around, you understand the growth, you understand the progress, because you see, as you grow, as you progress, you're going to see it reflected on this channel, right? Again, a lot of stuff that come out my mouth, like I told you, I don't be expecting to say these things, but I am able to say it because we are synchronized as one. I may be speaking thoughts that are not of my own, but it needs to be said because it's a thought somewhere in the collective. So I'm just the mouthpiece of all of us. That's all. In this space, at least. That's all. So all of our deepest thoughts and journeys and all these things, we bring it all together here. We're just chopping it up in the astrals. That's what I'm saying. I know we be bouncing around. It's no time, no space. Yeah, one entity. Many parts of the one. Absolutely. Absolutely. Hey, like how you was doing a little radio show sounding live on the current event shit. Felt like the radio back in the day. Oh yeah, so y'all want me to get back to the current events? That's what y'all want? If that's what y'all want, that's what we gonna do. So yeah, we can definitely, if y'all prefer the current events. I guess it ain't what y'all prefer, but yeah, just implementing the current events. That's definitely no problem. That's definitely no problem. It's just you know, the news has been dominated by the whole Ukraine-Russian war. It's the same thing over and over. I'm not gonna say it's the same thing, but that's like the dominant story right now, and that's pretty much taking up everybody's time and energy. But yes, I will continue to. If y'all want the current events, I got it. I got it. Whatever y'all need, y'all just let me know. I found you in 2016. Let's see, 2016. Trying to think. Trying to think what I was talking about in 2016. I don't even know. I don't even remember. I think that's when I was like walking in that big ass field. I remember. I think it's nice to observe a non-biased source for once. I understand that. I completely understand that, Dank Wizard. Yeah, because everybody else be already choosing sides, and it's like everything that come out their mouth is it's already premeditated. So I completely understand that. It's very hard to find non-biased news. So in that sense, I completely understand. I completely understand that. So if that's what y'all want, we'll do that. So for the next live streams coming up, I'll definitely implement the current events. So 93 Xander, 93, 93, 93. So how you gonna kick off the Aries season? Well, for me, my dreams have been crazy. So I guess the Pisces energy is more powerful for me versus the Aries. The Western Aries, the Eastern Pisces. I'm feeling that Eastern Pisces. Very, very, very heavy. I said dreams is all over the place. And in terms of the actual Aries energy itself, I feel like that's why I've been fasting. Again, I've been doing a lot of fasting, haven't been doing a lot of eating, but it's been natural. It's like I'm not forcing myself, so it's like my body is adapting. You know, and I guess the Aries, you know, I've been keeping clean cut. I guess if you can see my face here. So yeah, see, clean face. So I've been keeping the face clean. No, keeping the mustache off. So I basically got a whole new look. So I guess the Aries season, it's a whole new look. You used to walk around a lot, exactly. So yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Like I said, I couldn't sit my ass down at that time. I had to get my ass up, walk around. I couldn't sit still at that time. That's why I was back and forth from LA to Vegas. Like I couldn't sit my ass still. But I appreciate you for sticking around this long. That was what, 6 years ago at this point. It's a long time ago now. I'm in the middle. East Pisces is strong for me this week, but also Aries. My birthday is April 5th. Birthday is coming up. Happy birthday, if we don't communicate on your actual birthday. So happy early birthday from me directly. You've been detoxing, definitely. So that's why last live stream I was talking about the diet. So yeah, definitely get your diet on point. Get some fasting in, hydrate yourself, get your exercise in, get your yoga in. All the things that, you already know what's up anyway. Just take it to another level now. Are you in Chicago? Shout out to Chi-Town. Shout out to Chi-Town. Shout out to fucking Chi-Town. Chirac. Shout out. Because I know most people be, just focus on like the gang warfare and all that. But I know Chicago is an absolutely beautiful city. One of the most powerful cities in the U.S. Without question. I definitely put Chicago up there with New York. Chicago, is one of those cities for real. It's one of those cities. So I have nothing but respect for Chi-Town. Nothing but respect. Yeah, it's way more deep culture out here. That's exactly what I'm talking about. So I know the mainstream is focused on the bullshit, but I know when you actually in those trenches, where you actually there, amongst the energy and amongst the people, it's a whole different energy. Have I traveled to the Arabic world? Why did I say Arabic? The Arab world? Not yet. But that's my goal. I definitely got to make it to Egypt. Right? I definitely got to make it to Egypt. So yeah, y'all definitely going to see all that. My international travels here. So I done already showed y'all the U.S. Not saying that I've been to every single city. But I didn't show y'all a lot of the U.S. So yeah, the next will be the international. Absolutely. We planting those seeds right now. So definitely stay tuned for that. So that's definitely coming. Because I know we all have a unique perspective. And I definitely want to take y'all on the journey. Just like y'all would take me on the journey. So definitely want to take all of us. To see those pyramids, to see those great walls of China, to see all these monuments that our ancestors left for us to observe. So all that, So I'm in for the ride. I'm down. It's wild out here. That's funny. It's wild in Chi-Town. Yeah, that magical currency. I completely understand. I know the devil be lurking in those streets for real. Like I think the devil is realer than God in Chicago. Oh man. Yeah, people know the devil is real, but they still trying to find God in Chi-Town. But the devil's in them streets lurking. We already know. Now you gotta be on a whole nother wave out there. I know, cause I'm from Detroit. So I know about that Midwest. I know that Midwest energy, that death currency is the dominant currency. That murder currency is the dominant currency. Especially in the Midwest, it's a whole nother culture. Whole nother culture. No wonder my physical has been affected so much. The need to detox, eat, yeah, it's definitely seasonal. That's why we always pay attention to the planets. The planets will always reflect what we're going through in our consciousness. So that's why we take heed. We take heed to know what's going on within us. So the more we take heed, the more powerful we become, because the more we realize how we can alter our reality by making sure the planets support whatever we are doing. So whatever the planets are supporting now will be very easy for you. So whatever activities you're doing, just make sure the planets are supporting you so that you will be successful in your undertakings. Do your best not to go against the planetary forces. So do your best to make sure that, okay, the sun and the moon, for example, are positive with each other at the current moment, as an example, which is the 4th house and the 5th house. 4th house is the home, 5th house is creativity. So if the sun and the moon are conjunct, for example, or they have a sextile, or they have a triune or a trine, it's time for some home creativity or some home romance. It's just that simple, So again, once you committed it to memory, you are good. So for everybody who hasn't committed to memory, that's when it activates. It activates when you know it by heart. That's what separates you from everybody else, because you know it by heart. That's what separates me from anybody else. You see, I ain't gotta pick up no goddamn notes. I just pull directly from the dome, but that's when it works. So that's the only thing that makes me different than anyone else who have to keep referring to notes. So put them notes down, put that pen down. Start to know it by heart. That's with astrology, numerology, Kabbalah, tarot, Hebrew, the Hebrew alphabet. Go as deep as you want to go. Start where you want to start. Evolve as you please at your own pace. I ain't saying you got to know all this stuff tomorrow. But the more you commit to your memory, the more you expand. You have to expand your memory banks. Expand your memory banks. When you expand your memory banks, then that expands your spiritual influence. Because remember, you cannot visualize what you don't know. You can't visualize something you never seen before. So if I ask you to visualize a car that you've never seen before, you can't visualize a car. You have no memory to pull from. So that also goes for creation. You can't create what you have not seen either. That requires memory. So creation, or manifestation as we call it, requires memory. So if you truly want to manifest, it doesn't start with the thinking, it starts with remembering. Do you remember? It starts with remembrance. Remembrance, as people say, prayer. It's all the same thing, whether you want to call it remembrance, prayer, chant, incantation, all the same thing. That's where it starts. Because when you know what to pull on at a certain time, that's when it becomes activated. Oh, this would be a good time to activate the energy of Scorpio. This would be a good time to activate Cancer. It's like once you are in situations and you can test these things out in real time, then you know it to be real. And that's what you're supposed to be doing. We are 360 degrees, not 30. So you can pull from any of the zodiac. You can pull from any of the planets. They are all within. It's just about there's a certain time and place for certain energies. So when you know what energies to pull out at what time and what place, then that makes you the master of the universe, because you know what to do and when to do it. Because you're pulling from memory. You're not guessing anymore. It's not a guess. You're not speculating. You are coming from a place of knowingness. Well, like your personal or the whole zodiac. Yes, we are the whole zodiac. We may be personally a zodiac sign, 30 degrees, but we have access to all 360 degrees of the zodiac. Only 30 degrees are dominant. You can say you got 30 degrees as dominant, your zodiac sign, but you got all 10 planets and all 12 signs. That's what makes your natal chart. So you have access to all that. So don't get distracted by, anybody who's telling you what you can and can't do. You have access to all of it. you have access to the entirety of your star lot, and that's what we're here to do. We're here to explore the entire 360 degrees, not just 30. Not just 30. Don't leave off at 30. You have 330 degrees more to explore once you master the first 30 degrees. Once you master your zodiac sign, now you got to master those other 330 degrees. So I'll wrap this up around 3 minutes, not 3. I don't know what on earth made me say 3 minutes. And we done almost been here 3 hours. You see, my time is all over the place. But yeah, we'll be here about 15 more minutes. Make it a smooth 3 hours. Wasn't even planning on being on this long. You see, I don't even be planning on being on this long. I'll be planning on saying whatever I need to say and get up out of here. But it's like I can't even get up out of here without my whole mood being changed. I'm in a whole different mood. I feel way better. Feel ready to start the day. It's as if I just had a full night of sleep, full of energy. So that's why I be on here extra long, 3-4 hours and shit, because it completely transforms my energy. And that's why I say hopefully the effect goes beyond me. And hopefully y'all are in a more positive mood or a more supernatural essence. Or at least this is a spark to get you there. If it didn't get you there, let this be the spark to get you there. Do I believe in the 13th sign? Absolutely, because it's real. Ophiuchus is actually up in the sky. So it's not like nobody made that up. It's just not the mainstream. The mainstream only deals with the 12. But yes, the 13th sign is Ophiuchus, which is actually up there in the sky. So it ain't even about, do I believe Ophiuchus is real? Ophiuchus actually exists. It's just a hidden attribute. It's the 13th attribute. So definitely tap into that Ophiuchus if that's what you into. If you went to the 13 signs, then definitely tap into that Ophiuchus, which is a serpent bearer. So if you want to bear that serpent, by all means, because it is a real energy. So when you tap into that energy, it will have an effect on you because it is actually in existence. That Killer Priest album, Mantra, is dope as fuck. I haven't heard that one, but I'll check that out. You know, because I definitely enjoy Killer Priest music, but I haven't been listening to. I think the last album I heard from him was Planet of the Gods. And my favorite song from that was Spaceship Planet. That's probably the last album I heard, and that probably was like a couple years ago, so that's not even recent. But my favorite song from Killer Priest, Spaceship Planet, that's probably my favorite one. But I'm sure he's made better ones by now, so I need to get familiar. I've been listening to 50 Cent though. The Power of the Dollar. If y'all want to know what I've been listening to a lot of Pop Smoke, 50 Cent, like Power of the Dollar. So that's before Get Rich or Die Trying. That's the classic before he got shot. Ghetto Quran. The Good Die Young. So I've been listening to a lot of classic, you know, this New York, you know. My mind is like in New York. I think that's what Vegas do. This is, you know, New York of the West. You know, so yeah. So that's what's been in my playlist. A lot of classic NY, then take it all the way up to the present with the drill. Yeah, that's that classic. That's that classic. Yeah, Power of the Dollar. So yeah, I like that better than Get Rich or Die Trying. It's probably my favorite. Also, I like Irregular Heartbeat with Jadakiss and Kid. Kid, I also like that. Irregular Heart. I like anything that just give me that real grimy New York feel. Anything that does that, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. Yep, they got New York, and Vegas right there on Tropicana. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. And it be cold as fuck in there. It be cold as fuck in that hotel. they purposely keep that bitch cold. Every time I walk in there cold, I'm like, God damn, they really want you to feel like you in New York. They keep it cold as fuck in that hotel. Yeah, shout out to Styles P. I've been listening to his newer stuff. My favorite song from him is 100 from his newer stuff. I like that 100 song. G Unit Beg for Mercy album classic. Oh, absolutely. Also the 50 Cent mixtape. Guess Who's Back. The 50 Cent mixtape. Guess Who's Back. You already know. So I just got a real profound love for New York because it's the home of hip hop. So I'm always, my mind is always in New York somehow, some way, just to pay respects and pay honor. So I'm always there one way or another. Bubble crack. I know. Just like I would play the music if they wouldn't hit me with copyright strikes. I'll be playing that shit. But yeah, they're gonna hit me with a copyright. So yeah, I'm not gonna play it. But y'all already know. Yeah, I see you, SO. They said the good die young. I guess these grimy niggas live a long time. Sit in fancy whips, sip champagne and shine. Keep your eyes on yours while I keep my eyes on mine. Just listen to that earlier. Just listen. I'm gonna listen to that shit after I get off too. It gives me a feel. I don't get that feel from a lot of music. That gives me like, oh yeah, this is hip hop. No, this not rap. This is hip hop. That's that hip hop feel. I also like rock. What is it? What is his name? What's his name? Rock Murcielago or something. But I'll get his name correct before I mention that. Yeah, so shout out to that classical New York feel. Shout out to that classic feel. It's nothing like that. It's nothing like that. Don't nothing get me in the mood again like the 50 Cent or the Pop Smoke. It ain't nothing like that Pop Smoke either. It ain't nothing like that. That Meet the Woo, I ain't even talking about. I'm talking about that the when he was alive. Meet the Woo 1 and 2. That's all I listen to. I don't really listen to the stuff that came out after he passed. Not too much. But those first 2 mixtapes, ridiculous. With the feds, you do 85% of your time. That's absolutely right. They're not cutting you no slack whatsoever. Hey, do you like NF from Michigan? I haven't heard of him. Like I'm not up on like the new Michigan rappers, like the 21st century. But if there's anybody I should listen to, just email me. If anybody say like, yo, listen to homie, he got some bars, then definitely just shoot me an email, asha@ashrenew.com. I'll definitely check it out. He's a white dude who's cold. If he got lyrics, he got lyrics. We already know about Eminem and such, so if he got lyrics, he got lyrics. I ain't worried about that. That's that classic 50 Cent lyrics, yeah, exactly. So I ain't worried about that. Whoever got the lyrics, I'm listening to, because I live for that. I live for advanced lyricism. So anybody who's a lyricist, that advanced lyricist, I live for that. Y'all see what I be putting down with the pen, so I live for that. That's what gives me life. That's why I love hip-hop so much, for the advanced lyricism. It advanced the lyrics, because music before hip-hop didn't have those advanced lyrics unless you was listening to Jimi Hendrix. But I can't even listen to older music because like the lyrics is too basic, except Jimi Hendrix though. That's it. But I'm sure he wasn't the only one, but it's not too many older. Like the lyricism ain't there. Or I haven't listened to music, or I'm not familiar with older music that's highly lyrical other than Jimi Hendrix. However, I know it exists, but I have not discovered it yet. But I will at some point, I'm sure. Hip-hop done past race? Absolutely. Because hip-hop is universal. Hip-hop is a universal culture. Hip hop is universal. So we are like, hip hop is all around this planet. Anywhere on the planet you go, that's how I knew. I was hip hop from LA all the way to New York. And I was embraced on both sides. That's how I knew this was real. I'm like, like, hip hop came to me in New York, just like hip hop came to me in LA. Hip hop came to me in the South. Hip hop came to me in the Midwest. So like, hip hop is an ever present current. So long as you come in the name of hip hop, you will be good. So let everybody else rap. Let everybody else be rappers. When you come in the name of hip hop, when you a hip hopper, basically when you a hip hopper, then you good anywhere you go. Because as they say, real recognize real. You good anywhere you go. You good anywhere you go. You know, you appreciate this culture. You want to advance this culture forward. Then you good anywhere you go. So long that's why, you know, I'm always promoting technomancy. As long as you're progressive, as long as you're moving forward and pushing forward, you ain't gonna really have any issues. Because again, you ain't gonna be into the negativity. You ain't gonna be into all that madness. You're just about advancing the culture and being creative. Because you know, you ain't gotta put gun bars and gangster. You ain't gotta write gangster lyrics and gun bars. See, I don't be talking about that shit, but it's still hard as fuck. Just me talking about me. So when you talk about you, that shit's gonna be hard as fuck. Because it's authentic. As long as you are authentic, then that shit gonna pop. It hit. As long as that's like, you can't duplicate that authenticity. You can't duplicate the authenticity. So when you speak your truth, when you speak who and what you are, you good anywhere you go. Because it can be felt. They can feel that in your soul. They can feel that in your spirit. You know, and that's what allows us to heal. That's what allows us to be better. We heal and we become better. You know, when we allow that love to flow. What's hip hop? Peace, love, unity, having fun. There you go. Peace, love, unity, having fun. Long as you on that wave, you good to go. How I know? Because again, I've been all over the place. And I ain't had no problems nowhere. Other than problems I brought to my goddamn self. Any problems I had, I brought it on myself. But other than that, it's been all love. So I ain't got nothing bad to say about no city I've been to. I got nothing bad to say because I came in the name of hip hop and hip hop embraced me one way or another. So I ain't got nothing bad to say about no city. Again, that's why I was speaking highly about Chicago. Again, most people only, know it for the drill rap. But Chicago got a deep, intimate history, spiritual and physical. So that's why I try to acknowledge the totality of the culture and not just focus on the negative parts that the mainstream is into. I focus on the totality. I can't spit what I don't know exactly, so spit what you know. That's what allows you to be the best version of yourself. Speak your truth. When you speak your truth, it empowers you and also others who embrace that truth. It's way more to Chicago than the fire element. Exactly. And I acknowledge that and I respect that. And that's why I wanted to give that love. Because I understand. Motherfuckers are drawn to that fire element. But that's rap shit. That ain't hip hop shit. That's rap shit. The rap is drawn to the fire element, but hip hop embraces all that. Because those lyrics don't lie. Chicago got Common, Kanye, list goes on. Buddy Guy, exactly. You got Lupe Fiasco. You got Twister. You know what I mean? You got Do or Die. Yeah, you're right. The list goes on. Like, Chicago has made its mark on hip hop. It has continued to make its mark on hip hop from the beginning. And Chicago will be here. So, in the future, reinventing stuff. So Chicago is here to stay. Chicago ain't going nowhere. Like New York ain't going nowhere. So that's why I always show the love. And again, I feel that way about any city, Every city has its specialty. That's why I love the music itself. Every city has its specialty. So when you are one of the grand minds of your city and you can articulate those things, like I try to articulate Vegas through my music, when you are a grand mind and you're able to articulate that, it's all the better. It's nothing like it. It can't be duplicated. It can't be repeated because it is coming from an authentic place. And we are all a grand mind in our city. Whatever city you're in, you are one of the grand minds. So it is up to you to articulate that. If you are an MC, if you draw, then it's for you to draw it, do the graffiti. If you are a dancer, it's for you to bust those moves. Right? If you a DJ, it's for you to turn them tables. Or whatever element of hip hop you in. That's how you absorb the spirit of your city and transmute it into a higher intelligence that we call hip hop. Hip hop is just transmutation. Hip hop is straight alchemy. So the deeper you get into your hip hop culture, the more alchemical you become, which is why I'm always embracing technomancy, because hip hop requires some technology, right? Yeah, you got Lake Michigan off the Mississippi River. Exactly. And the Mississippi River is a Nile of America. The Mississippi River is just like the Nile River in Egypt. Because the Mississippi River can also go in reverse. Under special circumstances, it can appear to go from south to north, just like the Nile River did. So that Mississippi River is very sacred, very special. A lot of people don't know that history either. A lot of voodoo. Hip hop is a lifestyle, absolutely. It is a way of life. You are absolutely correct. Hip hop is a way of life. You are absolutely correct. It's not a religion, it's not a cult, it is a way of life. That's why you good anywhere you go when you are hip hop, because you live that life. You are an authentic being. You are an authentic being, as they call a real nigga. We take it there. God damn it. But you already know. So we didn't hit the 3-hour mark. So we're going to go ahead and check out. Salute to all the grand minds. Salute to your city. Salute to your consciousness. Salute to your spirit. May you continue to grow in intelligence. May you continue to raise your prosperity to grand chambers. Think nothing but luxury, luxurious thoughts. Not just materialism, but luxurious as in mystic beats, mystic lyrics, the grandest and greatest elements of hip hop, the grandest and greatest elements of your culture, whatever your culture is. Neo-shamanism, exactly. So, all praises is due to all the grand minds from all across the country and all across the world. I will return soon, God willing. May you be at peace, love, and happiness. 93, 93, 93. We out this bitch.